off to a terrible start, ladies and gentlemen. Look, everything probably looked flawless on your end, but I'm pretty certain I hit about 73 wrong buttons already. I'm a little rusty. Look, I also opened up Premiere on accident, so I'm hoping that doesn't screw anything up. Look, everything's fine. I can assure you I am a true professional in every sense of the word, and we are here once again on a Saturday night. I have convinced you guys to come hang out with me on a Saturday night. I apologize in advance. I remember when we were young, Saturday night was like, oh man, we got everything in the world we could possibly do with our time. We could do it. Never would I have imagined spending it with me. But thank you guys for tuning in tonight. And we're actually going to have some guests online tonight. I wanted to ramble and tell you guys a little bit of overview of what's going on, what's been going on, what's happening, what's coming up. There's a lot of things going on these days, ladies and gentlemen. It's been crazy on the old Calirado Kids side. You guys have seen all the videos coming out and stuff like that. But I want to catch up with you guys tonight. We're here in chat. We can ask tons of questions. The real crux of this whole thing is I did officially go on a gravel ride for the first time. Can you believe this? Like, who would have thought a Calirado kid on a gravel bike? It happened. So we're going to talk about that tonight. In addition to that, I want to give you guys a quick synopsis of what happened when I was in Washington, okay? So I went up to Washington. This is really just going to be a quick one because I'm going to spend a ton of time on this tonight. But we went up to Washington, okay? Went up to Seattle for work, crossed over to Bellingham, and ended up at the Northwest Tune-Up event. I don't know if you guys saw some of the posts from that, but they did like 3 days of concerts and an enduro race. And the Calirado kid entered into his first ever enduro race. Ladies and gentlemen, can you believe like the first ever enduro race? Like never done it before. And boy, oh boy, did I get my ass handed to me out there. so like it's funny because like going like those trails, the trail systems in Bellingham are incredible. If you guys aren't familiar with Bellingham, Washington, the Galbraith trail system is so cool. Anyways, going out there basically on a borrowed bike, I hooked up with Evo, the bike shop out in Seattle, and they hooked me up with a Transition Sentinel. I got a chance to ride that thing in the enduro race. So a bike that I'm not super familiar with, very good bike. I'm obviously more capable than I am on the trail. A very good bike. And so I took the Transition Sentinel to a trail system that I wasn't quite familiar with. I had ridden there once before. I got in early Friday-ish, like, well, not early, but like afternoonish, early afternoonish on a Friday. The race was on Saturday. I was able to get a pre-run on maybe one or two of the trails. There was like 6 stages or something like that. So boy, oh boy, man, it was tough. It was tough, and I get it. Like doing 4,000 feet of climbing over the course of the day. It was a hot day out there. I mean, we were all dehydrated by the end of the day. My buddy Josh from the Daily MTB Rider was racing the whole thing on a hardtail in a astronaut suit. I don't know if you guys saw this, but he was just sweating the life right out of him. Okay, and he did fine. Which brings me to the point, like, why is it that every time somebody rides a hardtail, they have to make it a point to tell you that they rode the trail on a hardtail? Like, you know, like you're like, man, that trail was gnarly. Like, yeah, I rode it on a hardtail. You're like, oh yeah, you know, it's impressive, but don't rub it in. Okay, just take it easy. Just take it easy. Yeah, so this was a couple of weeks ago now. I've been meaning to do a live stream about it, but then I've just been slammed every single weekend, which is, you know, part of the reason why I've been slammed is because I went out to Mammoth and we had a bunch of adventures out there. So we're going to talk about that tonight. I've got Amanda and Dave coming in tonight from the Mammoth Tuff event. Super rad people. We're going to talk about that. I'm going to catch up with you guys in chat. But as a first ever enduro race, like racing a bike that I don't know on trails that I'm not super familiar with, the experience was incredible. Like the organization by Race Cascadia, I believe, they did a phenomenal job. It was super fun. It was a blast. Had a great time. And you know, physical fitness was okay. Like at the end of the day, I was fine. It was all good. Went to the concert that night, saw Crystal Method and all that stuff. The event was cool. It was a rad time. I think we're living in a really cool time when there's a lot of like excellent bike events that are happening. And it's pretty cool. And one of the events we're going to talk about tonight, the Mammoth Tuff, is another one of them. Like there's so much cool stuff going on for bikers these days. It's unbelievable. How you guys doing in chat? Let me catch up with you guys. Ryan says it's Sunday morning fit for him. There he is. Yimi says, you were in Washington. Yes, I was out there. I was in Seattle for about a week for work, and then I went up to Bellingham, and I was at the Northwest Tune-Up all the weekend when I did that. So it was super fun. Let's see. Let me catch up. You should go to Doothy Hill. I've been hearing about Doothy Hill. I know. I've been meaning to. Oscar says, all right, Joe, I have made it to 2 consecutive live streams. That means you have to make a long-form video. Oscar has been keeping me honest. I've been saying I'm going to make more long-form videos, and he is holding me accountable. I 100% will. It's just time. So I've got some ideas. I do. I want to shoot them. I just need like a spare weekend. You know, I need like a weekend for the weekend so that I can shoot some stuff. All right. No, Oscar's great, dude. He's funny as hell, man. Like he's I told him I've been saying I'm going to make a long form video, and he's just holding me accountable. It's like those guys that do like day 73 of asking for a taco from McDonald's or something. Like, it's the same principle, I think, in contrast to you guys know what I'm talking about. Will you ever come to London? If not, please come. Is there riding in London, Phantom? I'm going out to Spain in October, so I'll be in Spain for about 2 weeks, but no plans to go to London just yet. I don't know. There's something about London that doesn't seem exotic to me. For some reason, like I feel like I want to go somewhere exotic on vacation. Like I've been to Italy, I've been to Rome, they're the same place, but I've been to Italy, I've been to China, like I kind of want to go to like places that seem very out of the ordinary. But London still seems like a blast one of these days. All right, stand by. I'm catching up on chat. I give credit for people who ride hardtail bikes. I know, because it is tricky to ride a hardtail bike. There's no question about it. But they always, just like a vegan, they always make sure you know that they're riding a hardtail bike. Am I right or am I wrong? I mean, you can correct me in chat, but I'm pretty certain. I'm right. Oh my God. What happened to the 3D printed mustache thing you made with Outside Brendan? It still exists. I just had it recently. My kid found it. It's in a bin. I've got a bin of like stuff, and it's in there. It still exists. I don't think I have it in here. I should have it mounted to the wall. The only thing I've really got mounted to the wall here is the old 100,000 play button. I can't even point to anything backwards. The 100,000 play button's way back over here. You can see it. I've got to get that permanently mounted somewhere you can see it, but I'm not like one of those creators that's like, we got a 100,000 play button. I forgot about it. It's in a box. No, it's going to be on the wall. 100%. It's going to be on the wall. All right. Here we go. Have you ridden bikes in Vail, Colorado? I have. Yeah, I have. So Vail is the only place that I rode in Vail was the Vail Downhill Park, because I was in Breckenridge in that area. So I've ridden Keystone and I've ridden Vail. And when I did ride Vail, it wasn't anything super gnarly. My buddy doesn't ride a lot, but I was able to take him out to the park. So he rented a bike. And we just did kind of greens and maybe a couple mild blues. Still had an absolute blast. Like, the scenery out there is unbelievable. Vail is a really cool spot. I did snowmobiling once in Vail Pass, because I used to live out in Colorado. I don't live there anymore. I'm in Sacramento now. But when I did live there, I would go adventure all weekend long. So I was just all over the place in Colorado. It's one of my favorite places in the planet. I got to make it back. You can't call myself the Calirado kid if I don't make a pilgrimage to Colorado every now and then. Am I right? Am I right? 100%. Do we have a dog? No, we've got a cat that barely pays attention to any of us, but occasionally she'll come by and like let us know she exists. But other than that, no. I'm responsible for enough living beings as it is. You know what I mean? It's pretty tricky to do all this stuff and manage all the content creation and the job and the family, and also go walk some dogs and pick up their poop. Which, by the way, this is gonna be a nice segue. And no, it's not. It's not. But I just don't understand the whole like dog poop. Like, their dog poops, you put it in a bag and then you put it on the ground. How is that a great alternative? Because it seems to me that these people never come and pick it back up, right? Because you just walk around and you see these bags of poo, and I don't understand how that solves any problems. Okay, we've officially gotten distracted. We've gotten distracted. That's right. All right. Crazy Dude says, I love your vids. Thank you so much. Thank you guys for spending time with me on this Saturday night. Look, so we're doing some untested technology tonight, because usually I like to do throughput tests on everything before I go live to make sure everything works. I did kind of with this, but we're going to see how it goes. Because tonight I've got a couple guests with me tonight. Now, there's other programs that let you see the guests ahead of time and you could bring them in and all that stuff. I'm just assuming that they're in here because it's like, this is in Streamlabs. It's a little bit different. But look, we're bringing in a couple guests, and I'll do a quick intro when they jump in here, and then we're going to start talking about some things. And then you guys in chat can still chime in on anything you want. We've got a lot of stuff to talk about tonight, so we're going to broach a lot of topics. And side note, if you guys are keeping an eye on Instagram tomorrow, if you haven't got a pair of the Calirado Kid mountain bike excuses gloves, we're going to be giving away about 5 pairs on Instagram tomorrow. So stay tuned. Trail Manos is going to put up a post, and I'm going to collab on it. Basically, I think the premise is you're just going to comment with your best excuse in the comments and follow and everything, and it'll be, you could stand to win some Calirado Kid gloves if you haven't gotten them already. And if you don't know they exist, I've got an incredible video I made about it, but I'm not going to show it here tonight. So the gloves exist. In addition to that, I want to thank Worldwide Cyclery, which I can't again. How is it completely impossible to point to the wrong thing every time? Everyone's telling me I can't wear this shirt in the UK because it looks like water closet, which means toilet. But no, this is Worldwide Cyclery, and this is where I get all my bike parts. If you guys need bike parts, I put an affiliate link down below. You got to highlight the whole thing, copy, paste it, put it in your browser, and you can pick up anything you want. It's just going to help me out a tiny bit. So no pressure one way or another, but those guys are rad. They do a lot of content creation. They're an amazing place. If you guys don't know who Worldwide Cycler is, what more can I say? Vince is in chat. Good to see you, buddy. And of course, my friends at Everyman Jack, they've been keeping me clean lately. I shot a video with Everyman Jack where I put shampoo in my helmet and put it on. Man, there was a lot of people around when I shot that, and I was just covered in suds. Like, just like head to toe. I've got a video of me like trying to wash it off, and I couldn't. And I'm like trying to wash off in the lake, but I feel bad because I don't want to kill fish with shampoo. It's just, everything went fine. It was fine. Everything was fine. All right. Yeah. So again, I put a link down below to that. I'm trying to think of anything else. If I think of anything else that's coming up, we'll let you know. But I want to talk about Mammoth Tuff tonight. I want to talk about gravel racing gravel riding for the first time in my experience in Mammoth. And we're going to do some storytelling tonight. So jump in, get ready on this Saturday night. Hopefully you got a brewski nearby, and we're going to do it. So let me see if this actually works. Ladies and gentlemen, you know my specialty is not doing things the right way. But let's cut over to this screen right here. Boom. And then I can see right here, we've got this. We're going to jump them in. Okay, stand by. All right, I'm figuring this out. And look like that. It works. And can you guys hear me? Yes, I got you. Okay, let me adjust some volume. Like I said, normally I would pre-test all this stuff, but that's not what we've done here today, is it? No, we make it what we got. All right, so here's the deal. First things first, I was a little hesitant to invite Dave on here because I think it's obvious. Look at his mustache. So nobody mistakes us for one another. That's right. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is Amanda and Dave. Amanda and Dave showed me out on my first adventure ever on a gravel bike out in Mammoth, which is probably one of the most scenic places in the world. I don't even want to sugarcoat it. It was insane. I told them as we were riding that basically what they've done is they've spoiled me for all time on gravel biking. So Amanda and Dave are putting on an event called the Mammoth Tuff event, and we're going to talk about that here tonight. Before we do, I got to say thank you to I Am Roland. He just donated $19.99. I'm going to round that up to $20. He says, keep up the great work, bro. I really enjoy the creative content. I Am Roland. Thanks for, it looks like based on that picture on your profile, you also have an epic mustache. So congrats to you on that. And and Amanda and Dave, how you guys doing tonight? I'm good. I'm just going to adjust some volume levels and stuff and get everything squared away. Look, you guys have been what would seem like a worldwide media tour. You guys have been doing interviews all over the place with everybody, haven't you? Well, like I think I said this when I was hanging out with you guys. I think the idea of like tricking people to go to Mammoth isn't that something you have to do, because like going up there, it's insane. Like the scenery is insane. I actually ran into somebody recently. They're like, "Hey, I saw that video. Like, I've been meaning to go to Mammoth forever." I'm like, "Yeah, so did I." Like it's unbelievable, and it's something that like again you can bring your family up there, which is what I did, and they were able to do all kinds of stuff. Well, I had to jump out and go filming here and there, but like Mammoth itself is an incredible place. Whether you're biking or not, it's an incredible place. But there is a lot of biking to be had, and we did some gravel biking out there, and I thought it was really interesting because like we're going to talk about the whole experience. But boy, oh boy, anybody in chat, by the way, if you guys have been gravel biking, let me know. Like I know this is like not new to a lot of people. It's new to me. All right, so we're going to talk about it tonight. So you guys have been on a worldwide media tour. I don't think you've been on Ellen yet, but I know you've been on the Biker podcast, and I saw that one, a little bit of that. And it's the spreading the word about what? Really? Yeah, I got you just fine. I see. Okay, hold on. All right. So if I screwed I told you guys I could screw something up here. It's totally possible. All right, hold on. Monitor and output. Okay, let's try that now. I know you should be good. All right. See, I'm figuring this out.
Okay. Can you let us know if you can hear us?
I guarantee you, yeah, it's my fault, guys. Thank you guys in chat. I told you guys, this is why people come, because I always screw something up. Look, it's fine. Everything's fine. All right, so everybody can hear him now. You guys can talk once again. So here's what I'm trying to say. You guys heard my spiel. What they said was, I'm gonna reenact it real quick. We're gonna bring it all the way back. The way they said they're trying to get people to come to Mammoth, and you guys heard my spiel about you don't really need to trick people to go to Mammoth because it's incredible. And then I said, Amanda and Dave, tell us about the Mammoth Tuff.
Yes, perfect. Yeah, so Mammoth Tuff is September 16th, 2023 this year. It's a gravel event, and we have 3 different distances. We had the idea for the event, I don't know, coming up to Mammoth to train and riding gravel for a long time. So we decided over the few years of training and racing up there, we were like, well, we're either going to keep this place a secret or we got to tell everyone about it and how amazing the gravel riding is. So around 2017, 18, 19, we decided to figure out like, okay, what pieces do we need to put in place to actually put an event on up here? And figured that out. We tried to do it with an event company and figured out that it would just be better for us to do it ourselves because it would be how we wanted it. So yeah, a lot of work, a few years of trying to figure out how to do it. And our plan was to do it in 2020. Obviously, that didn't happen with the pandemic. And then we got canceled in 2021 because of the wildfires. So last year was our first year unofficially. And yeah, so it's a gravel event, more of an adventure festival now because we have a bunch of outdoor companies coming to our expo. But just an excuse to get people who ride bikes up to Mammoth. Yeah.
And I think like people don't realize how complicated it is to put on an event. Like, would you guys agree?
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not easy. Dave says no comment.
Yeah.
I mean, like, there's a lot of events that take place.
I mean, you've seen Mammoth, you know, like the family and everybody coming up for the weekend. The town operates with visitors coming, you know, so they kind of thrive on it. And, you know, first year with us doing these rides, it was like, we're going to put on a ride. And now it's like, we have a concert. You know, we have a beer mile Friday night. Well, that was always the plan, is to make sure that the beer mile's there. And so,
wait, how does a beer mile work?
It's definitely fun. It's a really bad idea.
Yeah.
So we run around the village.
Sounds like a great idea.
At 8,053 feet Friday night before they ride Saturday morning.
Yeah.
And then
it's like the pregame, basically.
Yeah. So while registration's open, you pick up your number, come on over, maybe run the 0.9 beer mile.
Yeah.
And then, you know, if you do that, maybe you enter the Omnium, and then who can be the buffest. So
yeah, there's an overall category for it too. But
beer plus the beer mile plus the tough is the buff, and we have an award for it.
Yeah, Oktoberfest used to do it.
I have a sneaking suspicion that gravel bikers, and I think maybe road bikers are in the same boat as well, where like they kind of are gluttons for punishment to a certain degree, because like I think of like this other event that I went to, which was the Whiskey 50 out in Prescott, and they have like a full on race the day before the actual race.
Yeah,
I was like
yeah.
They do the Fat Tire Crit Friday night.
Yeah.
And
that's exactly right.
Races, mountain bikes. Yeah, it's pretty cool. I mean, it's fun to have those formats, you know, because like, especially in gravel, the community kind of comes together. And it's the other thing too, like traveling to Mammoth, it's a haul. So
yeah,
you're probably bringing the family, you're probably coming up for a couple days. And so we have it where like Friday, people show up. We have some pre-rides and stuff available. Friday night, registration opens at 2:00, kind of goes till about 7:30 p.m. We have a beer mile, maybe some noise in the background, and then a riders meeting. Saturday, everybody gets up early, rides, and then now this year, the village, which when you were up there, you saw like they have a concert series that kind of goes on all summer, and so now we're part of the concert series for Saturday night, and then Sunday morning, it kind of ends off where the vendors are kind of all gone out of the village and it's empty. But when we do this big thing where before people hit the road, we do a raffle. And so, for example, like last year, we had like $10,000 worth of product.
Sweet.
And so, you know, coming to events, it's like, I don't know, we saw it for years. You know, you go and man, it might always be getting podiums, but I'm showing up like working on all the bikes and trying to race. And it's like, what do I go home with? Like I need those raffles, so I need to bring that to everybody.
Yes. So you can come home with some accomplishment. Yes.
Yeah, exactly.
But like,
I got lucky.
One of the things we were talking about is like, because like what I discovered, and I didn't realize like what the elevation was in Mammoth. So I kind of discovered this like haphazardly because we went up when we got in Friday afternoon or whatever. We went up to go do a mild hike. And you realize up at those lakes, like some of the lakes up there are at 9,000 feet, just sitting at 9,000 feet, and then you can hike up. And so what I didn't realize, also looking in the ledger of the place that we stayed, there was a bunch of like world-class basically, and let me just not like summarize this for everybody in chat. Okay, I discovered that this place that they put me up in was for world-class athletes, and I stayed there. So if I was to extrapolate this situation, I'm basically a world-class athlete. Okay, and it's like we don't even need to argue it anymore. I stayed there. It's done. I signed the book. All right. So when I did look at the book, I was looking through it, and I didn't realize that everybody that was signing it was like, oh, we're here for high altitude training. We're here for high altitude training. I was like, oh, that makes sense. You know, because like I think about like I used to live out in Colorado, and like you're at a mile high in Denver alone. And so like you're just always at elevation, but like people coming there to train high elevation. And I think of people coming to race your race, and I'm like, dude, if they don't come in prepared, which I have to assume they come in early and get acclimated and things, but that could be a massive hit.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, first of all, for anybody watching this that was wondering if Calirado Kid is an elite athlete, by definition in Mammoth Lakes, he is. So so Visit Mammoth has like an athlete house where basically the elite athletes can come up and train. And so that's where you were able to stay. And that's where they put a lot of, people training for Leadville, people training for a lot of these like high altitude ultra trail running that's big right now. But yeah, it's kind of a destination for a lot of things. And right now people know it primarily for athletes as like a good place to train high and sleep high also, because you're at 8,000 feet. But yeah, so yeah, it's high. I'm sure you realize it probably just going up the stairs in the condo. You're like, whoa, this is not, the atmosphere is thin.
Well,
so yeah, it's
being the world-class athlete that I am. No, I didn't really notice it. I was fine.
Oh, that's right. Sorry, I forgot. You're us mere mortals. We feel it.
Yeah, that's why it was such an easy sell when I was talking to the visitors bureau. I'm like, it's Joe, and they're like, yeah, he's coming. Who's that?
Oh my god, I'm sure they're like,
oh, we know.
Yeah, I have to imagine like when you propose that, they're like, who? Like, what are you talking about? Like, who is this guy? Like, look, he doesn't look like a world-class athlete, all right? Like, I know looks can be deceiving, but here we are.
They're like, who is he? I'm like, he's a vegan that rides a hardtail with curly bars.
Yeah. You got to let them know that you're riding a hardtail if you're riding a hardtail. It's basically mandatory at this point. Just like how e-bikers, they basically have to make an excuse every time that they run into somebody who's not on an e-bike. And I see this all the time on the trail. Like somebody's riding an e-bike and like they're like, oh, like nice bike. He's like, yeah, it's an e-bike. He's like, I still have my regular bike. You're like, I know it's fine. You're just having fun. It's cool. Like you don't have to explain yourself to me. It's fine. But I do see this happen where you feel like you need to explain. Anyways, all right, we're getting distracted.
Yeah.
So the event's on September 15th. I know this, and because I couldn't make it that day and that weekend, but it sounded like so much fun that we got me out there a little earlier to get a preview of what Mammoth had to offer. And like, again, the whole area as a whole is incredible. But the route that we did was an amazing route. Like it was scenic as hell. And that was just kind of a small portion, correct? You guys are doing 3 different versions of the route. Is that right?
Yeah. So there's a short, a medium, and long. We call them tough, tougher, and toughest. And yours was like mini tough. What we did, we did the like half version of the short route, it was still awesome. We kind of showed you the best of the short and the medium combined, kind of like the beginning parts and then towards the end coming back to the finish. But yeah, we wanted to show you that Antelope Springs Road, which is where we got to that point where you could overlook and see the mountains and the valley.
Cool.
Yep. And we got to see the hot springs. It was a good, perfect little route. And I'll share it if anybody's interested that's going up to Mammoth. It's like a good 24 miles, I think it ended up being. So not too bad for being up there.
That was
at
really the
8,000
perfect
feet.
route. I mean, like it was that final climb where I'm like, oh man, now we got to finish with the climb, but it wasn't bad at all. It was like, all right, that was like the perfect route. What I wasn't prepared for is how light the bike was going to be. Like that's the first thing that stood out to me. Like as soon as I lifted that thing, I'm like, holy crap! Like basically, I've only just ridden mountain bikes for the last how many years, and it's not like I've been doing this that long. So it's like just lifting that Niner bike that was just like a feather, like just lifting it up. Okay, so that makes the ride easier, right? Like just like it makes the adventure easier than some big bulky enduro bike. You know what I mean? Like it felt smooth on almost everything. It was so cool.
Yeah. So this was, for everybody listening, this was your first drop bar, first curly bar ride,
Yes,
and it was on dirt.
We kind of spoiled you a little bit, though. We put you on like all the stuff to make it a little bit more comfortable with like 48 tires and you know, the material is softer anyway, so it's not like riding a bunch of chunky gravel, rocky stuff like you would see in the Midwest. So
Right.
yeah, it was like the route we did is fun, and it's it's not that abusive, you know. But when you do that for 100 miles, it starts to change. And sorry, we didn't have one of those saddles that goes down for you.
Yeah.
I know. I was like, how come the dropper doesn't work on this thing? It's like, it's so crazy because you talked about like, yeah, you do a mild run like that. You're like, man, well, this is a pretty good workout. And then you think about like how massive 100 is at that elevation and all that stuff. I'm like, gotta be gluttons for punishment. But like people train for that. So they're quite prepared. And you guys were obviously like very physical fit. So when we rode, like, how would you say I did? Like, I think I did all right, right? I didn't pass out.
Yeah, no, we were worried. we were definitely worried.
We had a lot of talks about it. And,
they had an EpiPen just in case. I don't even know if that works, but like they had it ready, standing by. Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I always like rate my performance based on how much I complained, you know, and it's like, I didn't complain that much, you know, it was fine. It was fine.
No, not at all. There's one solid climb at the beginning, and then we descend quite a bit to get around to Hot Creek, and then, you know, I think I was like trying to mentally prepare you for the fact that we were climbing all the way back from there. But besides that, yeah, you know, you did great. You did great for, I don't know, for being the Calirado kid. As an elite athlete, I would expect nothing else.
I know. The trick is like I've got so many excuses up my sleeve that we could stop, right? I'd be like, oh, you know, hold on, I got to take a video real quick. Like I strategically just put that in there every now and then, which of course cinematically they're fantastic, but like then it's also a strategic waiting moment for me, which is why I have the gloves full of excuses because I'm just always rip, rolling, and ready to go with one of them. I mean, everybody knows this at this point. So,
a lot of editing out the hey, turn that off so I can start breathing heavy.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
The wheezing.
Okay, cut it out. Cut that part out in post. It's fine. So what was like your guys? So it's funny because like COVID, like man, it's just threw a wrench in a lot of people's plans over the course of the years. Especially, I saw multiple events that were just starting out. Like there was another one called the Mare Island Pedal Fest, and they had they had 1 year, and then COVID hit, and it was like boom, and it kind of screwed everything up. But you saw it come back with a brute force. Like the last year's turnout was huge. So like for you guys getting a kind of a weird start within the whole COVID range, and then last year was officially your first one. This is the second one, correct? I mean, it looks like it's just going to be an absolute blast. How do you guys spread the word? I mean, it's a matter of like getting out here and talking to everybody, but also like around the circles and everything. What's the best route you found? Just kind of like really just get involved with everybody, huh?
Yeah, get in front of people. I think what we found is California specifically is a little bit behind the curve on like gravel events and like going to do gravel, you know, not necessarily racing them, even just participating. If you look, Colorado has a ton of gravel events like every weekend, and they sell out and they're just stacked fields. And California, that's not really the case yet. It's kind of like on the upswing, but it's not as popular as it is in the Midwest and Colorado. So I think what Dave and I have been trying to do is just kind of spread the word to Californians and like the LA area and the Bay Area that gravel events are like this cool way to sort of get out and adventure and go places that you normally wouldn't. Because the rest of the country has figured it out, but for some reason Californians are still trying to figure it out.
Yeah, I wonder why that is. Why do you suppose? Like, is it just? I mean, California. There's certain regions that are outdoorsy. Like, you discover that when like you go to Tahoe or something like that. Like one thing I discovered when I originally moved to Colorado, as a side note, is like I hadn't had that culture living here in Sacramento. Like when I moved to Colorado, as soon as I got there, even if I went to a bar and had a beer and it was like, oh, what are you guys doing tomorrow? Like, or whatever. And they're like, oh, we're going hiking or we're going by. Like everybody, it was a very outdoor oriented culture. Where I live, it doesn't feel like that. Like that was like one thing. You go to Mammoth, like everybody's on a bike, everybody's got a kayak, everybody's got a fishing pole. It's like, now there's a lot of tourists involved with that, of course. But like there's towns that are outdoor oriented that I visit. And you're like, Bellingham was like that. When I went to Bellingham, it was like bonkers. You know, that's a biking town through and through. Like, and so that doesn't feel like that here in Sacramento. And I'm not in LA either, honestly. When I lived in LA, it didn't feel like that at all, right? Like now you come into some of the outskirts or wherever, you meet people and you know people that are involved in outdoors. But man, when I was in Colorado, I just felt like everybody was out doing something on the weekend, you know?
Yeah, it's like
Maybe
a
that's part
cultural
of it.
thing.
It is kind of similar in the Sierra, though. You know, it's like whether we're down in Bishop or up in Mammoth, I feel like it's everybody we know. You know, it's like just this week on Thursday night, we're out and there's just a free mountain bike race, and you know, we're out throwing down with the kids, and it's like
Sweet.
Some of the guys you're riding with, you know, they're job during the winter is like shooting photography for bigger companies and pro skiers. And so it's just like all these people involved in all these different things. Whereas, down in the city, we don't get out and adventure as much, I would say.
Yeah.
I think the
Yeah.
outdoors is like a little addictive too, right? Like the more you're in it, the more you want to be in it, you know? And so like a trip to Mammoth or whatever, it's like, man, like, and then you got to go back to work. I'm describing myself here. And it's like, you just go into the office, you're like, oh, you know, like compared to where we just were, this is nothing, you know? So it's like, just you want more of it, you crave it more. So of course, if you live out there, it's like, maybe that's part of it, you know? Like being in a city, it doesn't like make you think of it all the time. And if you're stuck there all the time, it like, once you go up to the mountains, it sinks in and you spend some time there.
Yeah.
So I could totally see that. Like, you know what I mean? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. Yeah, and we talked about it a little bit on the ride, but I think the reason why gravel biking got popular was people just wanted to get away from cars and get off the pavement.
Yeah.
And I think that, like I said, that Californians are just a little bit behind that curve, and so we're trying to show people that getting off of pavement is possible and you can go explore. And that's I think part of it is it's daunting at first because a lot of like the remote open areas in California are scary because you don't have cell service, you're kind of on your own. And so kind of educating people that you can get out there on your bike and be self-sufficient, and it's possible really on a gravel bike, mountain bikes too, but gravel kind of gives you a way to get out further, I think, and that's the scary part. So yeah, we're just on this mission to like tell people to go explore on gravel bikes because it's awesome.
I think that's such a great point too, because like one of the things I dislike more than anything is inconveniencing others like purposefully, and like road bikers don't seem to mind that. So like I hate the idea of like a car behind me waiting for me, so I got to get out of the way. Like it's like the same thing when I go to a bike park. Honestly, if I go to like a downhill park, like you take the gondola up or whatever, and you're doing downhill, and it's a jump line or something. I'm not particularly great at jumps. I've had this happen before, and then just a local shredder is coming down right behind you constantly. And I don't like, I totally don't mind that they do that. I'm like, dude, I just want to get out of your way. Like, I want you to have fun. Like, I have that mentality where it's like, I want whoever, like, if you're going faster than me on a trail, like, I want to pull over and let you go, like, have a blast. Like, but if that keeps happening, I'm like, now I'm not in the mode, you know, like, there's too much stress on my shoulders to be polite, I guess, is what I'm trying to say. And so, like, the idea of inconveniencing cars on a road and stuff, I felt none of that pressure on our ride. It was nice because you could just sit back and relax and, like, it's wide open territory. It was so cool just to enjoy the scenery. Like that's something that, you know, sometimes we don't get as mountain bikers too. If you might do a climb, but when you're doing downhill, it could be the most epic scenery off the cliffside as possible. But you're too busy trying to survive to enjoy it. You know, like this, I was enjoying the views. It was crazy.
Yeah. I think you made a comment like, oh, if we were on a mountain bike right now, like for all the descending, we just like wouldn't be talking, or you know, we're riding single file and kind of like pointing things out along the way. But you know, it was 2-track. We were riding next to each other, kind of could have a little bit more of a conversation. I think like 2-track fire road riding is what California has a lot of, and there's just so much room for activities on the gravel bike in this state, especially around the Sierra. And yeah, that's the part that we're trying to tell people about.
Yes, so cool. Like again, with an event like this, I can't imagine it's going to be hard to just get it packed up within 2-3 years or whatever. I mean, being the second year, you're probably already seeing a bigger turnout. But people love to get together and talk shop with something they love, like whether it's, you know, mountain bikes, gravel bikes, road bikes, cars, surfboards, doesn't matter. Like it's fun to go hang out with people who enjoy similar things to you, and so like it's not hard. And like I had done my first enduro race. I mentioned it briefly at the beginning of this live stream. I did that in Bellingham, Washington. And like, I'd never done it before. I'd been around a race before, but like, you just see like, as you're waiting in line to drop in, you're sitting there talking with everybody. It's this big social event, and I can see the appeal. Like, it's not necessarily a performance-based thing. I know it is for some, but it's also like a great opportunity for a social event to hang with people who love doing what you do, you know?
Yeah.
I'd say there's always like the way I try to explain it to people, because it's what I kind of, you know, when we started doing these things like 2014, 15, you know, we came from this real world of like racing, you know, and doing cyclocross. And it's like you're going as hard as you can for an hour and 5 minutes. And then all of a sudden there's these longer events, and we start to kind of, you know, dip into this world of gravel. And it was, you know, less of that, angry racer and more of this community.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the thing that we continue to see, and that we, I keep trying to explain to people, like, there's the pointy end and there's 15, 20 people that are going to be there.
Yeah.
And then that, kind of turns into the race, and the rest of you, it's like, go out and have fun with them and race your bike or ride. But it's really like this gravel thing is really just these adventure rides. And then, more than that, like the cool part of the weekend that we're on is it's the last weekend of the bike park in Mammoth. The concert that we have now, and part of that village concert series is free. So even if people are coming up, like you have the one friend that is the crazy curly bar hardtail rider,
Mm-hmm.
you let them go do your thing where you're riding chairs and then come to the concert at night. It all kind of helps the town and the thing that we're doing. And we're trying to just kind of get everybody together on bikes, and Mammoth's trying to help us, and some of these other events at that time. Like the weekend before us is the Mammoth Grand Fondo, which is a road ride. And then we have the gravel race the weekend after. And then the weekend after that is Mammoth Trail Fest, which is like trail running. And so they have this like month of endurance in September, and it's kind of a cool thing for all the the people that like to suffer to get together.
Do you see a lot of people like just stick around basically like for everything with that? Like, so the road bikers can probably just be doing gravel. Do they just stick around for both? Do you see that some of the people doing that?
Yeah, we have some.
Yeah, there's quite a few this year that are just coming for the Fondo and staying the whole week before our event.
Oh, wow. Yeah, that's one thing I saw for like high altitude training. I think I started popping into my feed because the Leadville or whatever was coming up, right? So like you start to see like, tips for training at high elevation. And so one of them was like, get up there 2 weeks ahead of time and just acclimate and all that stuff or whatever. I just show up and just let my nose bleed as much as I can. It's fine. I can just do it the same day. But like, God.
Well, and you're elite. Like, you don't have to worry about that.
I know. But it's one thing you said right there. It's totally true. If people come up to do this gravel race, you bring family and friends, whatever. There's other stuff to do. Like I said, I'd never seen so many people with fishing poles. They must stock the hell out of those lakes up there. There was trout everywhere. I legitimately grabbed a trout out of a stream with my bare hands. There were so many.
I still can't believe that.
We're still amazed by that story.
My kids like were losing it. I had to pull them off the stream to get them out of there. Like after I did that, that maybe one thing that they remember going into like I've tried to teach them life lessons. I've been like, look, here's the truth of life, and like I tried to explain those things, and they're just like, They don't even have phones. I don't know why they do it, but like they just could care less. Yeah. But like that one thing, they'd be like, they're gonna be like 25 years old. They're gonna be like, you know what? My dad caught a fish out of a stream once with his bare hands. Like that's
with his bare hands.
Yeah, with his bare hands.
Head off.
I can't wait to see like how far the story goes. Like he fought a bear for the fish, and he got it's going to be something like that. I can almost assure you.
Exactly.
My great grandkids are going to be. There's going to be a picture of me on the wall, like it's going to be like an AI drawn thing at this point because there won't be hand drawn stuff anymore. With me like with and the fish is going to be like this big, and it's gonna this is where I imagine in my head that this all goes, but it's probably not. They probably forgot already.
Yeah, no.
But like,
the amount of fish is impressive.
Yeah, getting back on track. Like if somebody goes up there and one person's doing the gravel race or the event, the park's still open. I didn't realize they were closing so soon because when I went up there, like the downhill park was open, but I didn't realize that people were still skiing and stuff up there right now. Like that's crazy.
Yeah. I mean, the weekend after, I think, was the closer.
Yeah, August 6th was the closing day, which was coincidentally like the 100 days to opening when they opened in November, which is crazy. Yeah, a lot of people can't ever say that. It was like a big deal for Mammoth to be open when they're still 100 days out. But yeah, if you go up to Mammoth right now, I would say like if people that have been there before from Main Lodge down, the mountain bike trails are open. So a lot of the higher stuff like off the top isn't. But yeah, the fact that it's closing in 4 weeks is crazy. Yeah. But that is just traditionally when they close so that they can do a lot of maintenance stuff before winter. But they still have, because of how great winter was, the trails are just in really good condition. And for people that have ridden up there before, the pumice stone is very unique to that area. And with a good winter, it's kind of all packed down. And there's, a ton of mountain bikers that we saw last weekend. So people are going up there, but you got crunch time before it's closed.
Yeah, I saw some guy with a full face like riding through town to go up. I was like, yeah, he's going to the downhill park. One thing that I was thought interesting about Mammoth as well was like they have these trolleys that are like what do you call it? Like shuttle vans almost that look like trolleys, and on the back of them are these gigantic bike racks. And so like I was like, wait, what's going on here? And you realize what they do is they take everybody to the top up near like
Mhm.
Mary's Lake and everything, I think. And what was the one in the back? I forget the name of the lake in the back. Horseshoe. And they take them up there, and then instead of having to do the climb up there, which isn't that bad realistically, but like then just casual tourists or whatever could just grab their rented e-bikes or whatever else and just ride downhill all the way back into town. I was like, that's super cool. That's like a great idea. Like, it's nothing gnarly. It's just like paved trails, but they're beautiful vistas and stuff. You're like, what a great idea.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a few cool single tracks out there, like Mammoth Rock Trail and some other stuff in the trees up there. But yeah, you can find them all on all the different apps, or just look at the heat maps on Strava. I think that's where most people play now.
Yeah, and even people who go ride the park, like there's a shuttle that takes you from the village up. So there's that main like park shuttle that will get people to the top. But yeah, they make it as convenient as possible to do mostly descending as much as you can.
So awesome. So awesome. And so like I ended up stopping by June Lake on the way back, which was like 15 something minutes out of town. I did a quick loop around there, and there was like a massive waterfall coming down by a power station that was just out of nowhere, just sitting there.
Yeah.
And I ended up jumping in the water somewhere and cleaning off on the way home, which was super nice. But it's like everywhere along the way, even driving, because the way I go is from Sacramento, I go through to Tahoe. So I go to Tahoe and then I cut across. And even all the drive all the way to Mammoth was like scenic all the way through and through. Like right when you get to Tahoe, after that, it's just like nonstop gorgitude.
Yeah.
Wait.
Yeah. Where you are in the Bay Area, it's like because you guys have Tahoe in the way, there's just a lot less Bay Area and Sac people that come to Mammoth because the thinking is like, well, why keep going? You have Tahoe right there. And I think that was like, we kind of wanted to show you that the drive is amazing. And then you kind of get to Mammoth and it's just a little bit less crowded than Tahoe, but kind of a different crowd. And I think part of the reason is because it is harder to get to. So like you have to be committed to get to Mammoth. And I think people realize once they're there that it's worth it. But but it is a cool drive. Yeah.
Yeah, I think of like Tahoe. Tahoe's like massive. Tahoe's, and like when you go to Tahoe, there's always a lot of people. It didn't seem congested to me in Mammoth, although I know there was like one or two comments on the video that I put out, like that the people that live in Mammoth don't want people from LA coming to Mammoth, and I'm like, but it's kind of a tourist town, like not a tourist town, but it's like people are coming here to see the sheer majesty of this place, and like I don't know why you wouldn't be stoked on that. Like it was like. That always fascinates me. Where it's like, it's ours, you can't have it. I'm like, it's not really yours. You kind of showed up too. It's not, you know what I mean? Like I never. It's like that happens with trails too and all this stuff. You're like, man, I'm just so stoked that people can come out and enjoy this. Like to me, it was like a bit like being in the Swiss Alps, but in California. Like almost realizing like I didn't realize that was there. It's like, holy crap, this is insane.
The angry ones are the ones that just moved there this year. It always turns out that way.
Yeah, they're just the get off my lawn people, They forget that their job is probably based on people coming, and it's just this like which comes first,
Yeah, exactly. Now, funny story. There's a breakfast place in town called the Stove, I believe, and we went there one day. And then like it wasn't like that later in the afternoon or something. Somebody messaged me and they're like, "Hey man, like I saw you waiting in line at the Stove. I just didn't come say hi." I'm like, "You always got to come say hi to me, of course." It impresses my wife. All right. But like he didn't. Anyways, he was like, "Oh yeah, like it's stoked to see you out there. Like hope you had a blast." And then he's like, "Oh, the owner of the Stove is a mountain biker too." So it's like, I don't know. I think of like the economy when you come into town and you support these local businesses. I mean, that's good for everybody. That's why like whenever I go to places, I don't really buy like collectibles and stuff. I always just spend money in the like buying food and hanging out and like going to local places and doing all that. And speaking of which, I'm a little upset of Mammoth and the Village because there was an ice cream shop in the Village, and we went in there, and they ran out of vanilla ice cream.
Tragedy.
Now that being said, it was packed. There was like a concert going on and stuff, so there's no fault of their own. But I was like, you don't have vanilla ice cream? What kind of ice cream shop are you? They were slammed. That's what it was. And kids like vanilla ice cream, so they must have gone through 12,000 buckets of it. But there we are. Mango in chats, by the way, says that dirt bikes are the best. I haven't ridden a dirt bike. Have you guys ridden dirt bikes before?
Yeah, my dad was big on that. That's why we started mountain biking, my family, because my dad was like, I don't know if you know, in SoCal, like the desert racing is a big deal, the motos. So yeah, the only reason why I raced mountain bikes and got into gravel was because of dirt bikes. So yes,
that whole area from Mammoth where we were at,
the desert,
to June Lake There's a ton of designated OHV trails, and then off of them they built for moto specific single tracks that are just for two wheels. It's kind of a cool little zone. You kind of have to just look it up on the maps and go play. But yeah, there's a lot of cool stuff out there that people just don't really know is there.
Oh man, like that's another thing that I would get into, but I'm glad I don't have the money to, because like I can see myself like, just imagine how much time do we all have to do all the things we want to do all the time. I'd be like, oh God, I would totally I like the idea of like a side by side or one of the ATVs or something, or a moto or something, and just going and adventuring. Like the idea of it sounds amazing. Like, but man, just time and money is where it's at now. It's like, God. Can you imagine?
I know there's a lot of potential for the Calirado Kid channel to go motorized, but the thing is, we know your story about how you kind of like dove all the way into the deep end once you got into mountain biking. So we don't want to know what that looks like for
yeah, exactly. Like, hey, I bought a used motorcycle. The next thing you know, like I'm entering the world championships and stuff.
Exactly.
Like, just like
you're doing trials.
Yeah, I'm like sending it off a cliff like Tom Cruise and parachuting off. Like, who knows?
It's great for the channel. It's great for the channel.
Side 2 years later, you're at a monster truck rally.
Oh, I know, exactly. Like, yeah, I know. Just big old Calirado, like leather suit and everything. Like full on stunt work. It'll just go horribly wrong. That's why, like, I was talking to somebody recently about like extracurricular stuff, and I like see people driving to the lake with like multiple jet skis. I'm like, what are you doing? Like, what are you doing with these jet skis? Like that, like you bought that you probably use 3 times a year. Like, it just like seems like a massive expense to have multiple jet skis. I saw a guy pulling on the lake today with a big boat and 2 jet skis. I'm like, what the hell does this guy do for a living? Huh?
Yeah, right. We were just talking about that. We think bikes are expensive, let alone that stuff.
I know. But then I think about it, and now as we like say this out loud, I'm like, yeah, what does a jet ski cost? Like $12,000? What an idiot. And I'm like,
yeah.
Oh, wait a minute. That's how much e-bikes cost now. Like, oh, crap. What have we done here?
Exactly.
Oh, my God. Yeah. Oh, my God. Yeah, I know. That's where we're at these days. Like, I can't talk too much crap. Although the price of the industry is coming down. We're starting to self-regulate. Like, the whole COVID thing settled down. Everything's discounted now. So, there's some affordable bikes out there. And, it's not as bad as it used to be. I was talking to somebody who was like, I kind of want to get into mountain biking, but the idea of spending like $2,500 on a bike, I'm like, yeah, okay. But like it's kind of doable now. There's some companies actually making bikes that you can purchase for that range, and it's hard to tell people to get into something, whether it's gravel biking or mountain biking, and being like, hey, just drop all this money. I'm sure you'll like it. Like, it's hard to say that. Like, to have that entry point, something that you could buy that's relatively affordable, that'll get you in the door and get you going, and being like, okay, I do love this. I'm willing to spend money on it. That's where you got to start. Like, I think my first one, I think I told you, was I bought a used Bronson off of like Facebook Marketplace or something for like $2,600. Like, who's going to take that leap to go meet some dude in a parking lot to buy a $2,600 bike that doesn't come with pedals? Like, what the hell was I thinking?
Does the World Ride Cyclery sell like complete bikes to people?
They do. Yeah. They work with multiple brands. One of them's Revel. I know they've got like some other bike brands that they do there too. So yep, they do.
Nice.
Yep. And if somebody buys it there, I'll get a huge chunk of money. No, I actually
That's what I was going for. I was trying to open the door for you.
I know. I try not to influence people too much. I tell them it's there, but I tell them there's no pressure, Like, there's no like when it comes to supporting me, it's funny that I do all this stuff, but I kind of leave it up to me to like deal with brand deals and handle that in the background so that like people just come watch and hang out. Like, I thought about the idea of like at some point doing like behind the scenes exclusive breakdowns of videos and how I made them, and like that stuff that I would have to like do paid for, because it'd be so much time invested. But like the people that really dig it would probably dig it, but I just don't have the time for it right now. So in the meantime, I just hand it all out for free.
Yeah.
Can you imagine like how many outtakes I have? Can you imagine? I've probably got like a terabyte of video that I could sort through, and it would just be just nonstop outtakes of me like talking to myself.
It would be gold, and laughing at yourself. And
I don't know. When we were out there, I feel like we had to do a lot of more retakes of us than him.
Yeah, true. Yeah, we were the problem. We were the problem.
I'm working on the video, so we've already put out the one video, and I've got I'm editing the second one. And still the take that we did that basically was like, let's go graveling, guys. And you guys, nobody says that. Like, I crack up it's like perfect delivery. I had a clip of it somewhere, but I don't think I have it on my phone right now. But it was like, yeah, so I've got that one coming up next too. But that was super fun. It was fun like working with you guys on a skit, because like I tell you, sometimes it's like tricky when you're just doing it by yourself. It's fun to hang out with people and collaborate and come up with ideas and bounce ideas off of each other. And was that like the first time you guys had done some stuff with Sid and Mackie? When you guys recorded that, did you guys do that like together, or was it all just separate parts filmed, or how did it go?
Yeah, no, we met up. We all met in Arizona, I think, and then they drove to Colorado for the Niner parts where we were actually at Niner headquarters, and then Dave showed up to do the stuff at Niner. But yeah, that's the same. They put bloopers at the end of that video because we had a hard time with it. But
good.
A lot of the stuff that, like, one funny thing is that because Sid and Mackie, they're such like vloggers, they're so used to staring like at a camera.
Mhm.
That there are so many outtakes where the director's like, stop looking at the camera, because she just wanted to talk at the camera. But yeah, it's fun. I like doing that stuff. It's fun to make people laugh about bikes for no other reason.
And it's good to kind of get out of your comfort zone a little bit too, yeah?
Yeah. No serious bike racer, just like laugh a little and yeah.
I feel like the B stuff is always better, you know. Like,
yeah, the outtakes.
A lot of the, like, Amanda's been filming this project that's up there, Caldera. It's like a 500-mile ride for I don't even know how many years.
3
it's
years,
like on a mountain bike packing journey, and she still hasn't even finished the whole route, but yeah, we've shot it over 2 years, and it's like the stuff that, like, the jokes and just stupid stuff that goes with it. It's like the B-side stuff that you kind of see, and with the groups, I feel like is way more fun than even, you know, just making it is more fun than the adventure itself.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. And for anyone that's a Calirado Kid fan, you are indeed exactly how we would have expected.
Yeah.
But what's great is that, like, you're like that in person too, but as soon as that camera goes on, I was like, oh my God, he is in this mode. It was so fun to like watch you do it.
That's right. I remember the first time, like, I had flipped the camera up, I got everything mounted, we're all just talking. I was like, okay, so we got these ideas. Yeah, all right, cool. I think, all right, I'll deliver the first line. And I'm like, you know, like,
exactly. It's like the cape goes on, like,
because like we gotta play the role, like, whatever. I'm like, you know what, guys? Like, it's just like, yeah, it's
it was so good. It was so good.
People in it, we're like, we're with him. He's
Yeah.
the lead athlete. Vegan hardtail
and it's
rider.
like, it's funny when you have people watching too. You realize how ridiculous it is what you're doing. I'm like, okay, yeah, this is pretty good. Like, I was like, and I'm like, I need the shot with my leg up in the air for this line, and like, we're just like, what the hell? It's so good.
Yeah, no, it was fun.
I get caught every now and then filming in the wild, and this happened recently for the video I shot for Everyman Jack. I was out at Granite Bay. I had to film out there, and I was running out of daylight. And this happens sometimes where basically, like, I got caught up at work. I needed to shoot this thing to get it out on Friday. And so I had to run out to Granite Bay, which is about a 40-minute drive. I got to get out there, get everything unloaded out of the truck, write it down to the filmable spot that I want, and do all this stuff. At this point, this area of Granite Bay during the weekdays, it turns into, like, everybody comes down with their professional photographers and take pictures with their families and their kids, and they're like, usually it's like high school graduations. The place is packed. Like, it's insane.
Yeah.
So I go back there and I'm like, I don't have any choice. I'm filming right here. And so, like, as I'm doing this, and if you guys have seen the video, like, I'm putting shampoo into my helmet. I'm delivering this line while they're literally, like, right in front of me. And you can't see it on the camera because it's behind the camera. But there's probably like 100 feet from me is a family, like, trying to take professional photos with their kids. And I'm just like, I was like, you know the trick to washing your helmet? Like, really super loud. And I'm over here, like, pouring shampoo into my helmet. The husband's just, like, glancing over, like, what the hell? And as I'm doing this, some guy rides by. He's like, I love your videos. Like, oh God, like, this is like the process. This is what happens. Like, and so, like, then I start talking with him as the sun's setting and the lighting's changing. I'm like, crap, I got to change angles now. And so, like, I have no choice. I just got to film this. So I'm down in the river scooping water out so I can pour it into my helmet for the bit and all this stuff. And I'm covered in soap suds. Like, you know that part where I got the shot in the video where my hair is, like, covered in suds and I'm like this?
Yeah.
I got to do a bunch of those takes to get the right line, right? So I'm like, like, looking at the camera and I'm messing up my hair some more. And I'm like, you know, like, and just they're all there. Everyone's looking right at me, but I gotta get over it because I got to get the shot and I got to go. So it was like, this was the experience.
Serious commitment. I love it. I love it. You're going to get to a point where you're going to need somebody that just films that part, like all the background, the, like, influencers in the wild segment where it's just like people's reactions to what you're doing.
I'm really a fool for not setting up my cell phone every time I do this, because the two
Yeah, you
biggest
should.
videos I've had on Instagram are the outtakes. Like I've got one that's
Oh, really?
yeah, I've got one that's like 13 million views because it's just an outtake of an actual video I made. And then I've got another one that's like 10 to 12 million views. Same thing. It was the cell phone just rolling in the background as an extra shot just in case, because I needed to So there's one video where I shot that was like getting ready for the bike park, and I had the full face helmet on. I was in front of the garage. I had a table with a fan going, and then a bucket full of dirt, a Home Depot bucket with a string attached to it. And I'm on the bike, just ready to pull the string, dump the bucket of dirt into the fan to spray into my face to simulate dust at the bike park. So the shot in the actual video is great. I've got this side shot, looks good on my really nice camera. But the cell phone shot that I got, which is a wide shot like this, I put that one up as a separate take. Yeah, like 13 million views. I was like, well, what am I doing all this work for? I don't know. What an idiot.
Yeah, the one I really want to see your setup for is the one where you do the jump, like what it feels like when I do a jump and you're like in the air, and it's the shot of you like in the air. I want to see what that looks like.
I have got that. I've got that. If you can stall, I'm pretty certain I still have that on my phone. I just don't know where it's at. I'll send it to you, because it was literally
that's got to be a good one, yeah.
I think that's one of the clips that has 14 million views. I kid you not.
Okay.
Like there was a shot of me with the leaf blower angled up on the lawn, and then my my camera angled up at me while I'm in front of the ramp eating the chicken like this. And like you could everyone, when you look at that video as an outtake with no context to like what the actual video was, it went bonkers, because everybody's like, what the hell is going on here?
Oh, I see.
So many people in the comments were like, where's the actual video? So I had to go and like tell them, go to my page. I pinned it to my profile, and everybody was like, it was worth it. Like sometimes you see those clips and you're like, well, what's really happening here? And you see it and it's like, that's not good. Everybody that went to go watch it, they're like, all right, I'm glad I watched it. It was a really good, like, I'm still proud of that video. That came out great, but yeah.
Yeah. You do your like out of context outtakes or something like that, where and nobody has any idea what's going on.
Man, there's a miracle to social media there, and I've talked about it before. Like there's a place to be there's an argument to be had for like really well produced stuff. The stuff that I'm doing right now helps me build a long-term audience. Like, but that stuff doesn't. What it does is it'll bring in millions and millions of views. It'll bring in tons of subscribers, but those people won't stick around long term, because they're just in it for the spectacle. They're not in it for like what I'm trying to do here, which is like building a biking community to a certain degree, right? Like, so I don't hate them. Like, it's totally fine. But like, if I was to base my whole channel on that, I'd probably have, 500,000 followers, but I wouldn't have much engagement. What I'm proud about is the fact that I do have engagement, because the stuff I make is, we can all relate to it, and we're all here for the same reason. But yeah, like there is something to be had on social media. If you make a video where it's just, you don't know what you're looking at, that will get a lot of views. Like, and Seabass, a normal mountain biker, proved this as well. He did a video once, and I don't know if you guys saw this. You probably did. It got so many views. Everybody saw it, where he rides up to a coffee shop and he gets off his bike, and the seat post comes up, but there's no seat. So it looks like the seat is in his butt, but what it is a dropper post. That most people in the world, I realized this later on, don't know what a dropper post is. So as far as they're concerned, with no saddle on the thing, the seat was just in his butt. Like he gets off and he just walks into the coffee shop. That's it. It was just like, he's like, it's the quickest thing I filmed. The thing over the course of being shared across multiple pages and all this stuff, I think on his page alone, it was over 30 million, but it got shared by every other. He was like, it probably was like 300 million plus. And it got reshared from another page by Shaq. Like Shaq reshared the video that was reposted of his original video. It was crazy.
Wow.
And what it was spectacle, right? It was something that like people didn't know what they were looking at. So that can do well on social media. It's just got to be weird enough, and there's got to be enough going on the frame for people to be like, wait a minute, why does he have a leaf blower? Wait, what's the wait, why is he eating chicken? Like, what the hell is like, what are his neighbors like? It's enough for them to be like, what's happening here? So it's
and even I was gonna say the collab post that we did with you, when the notifications start coming in for the shared post, because for collab posts, your collaborator people also get the same notifications. And even just from that one that we shared with you, I was just thinking like, man, your notifications and like comment sections must just be complete dumpster fires most of the time and just be out of control. But yeah, it was fun and cool to see the process. And I wanted people who are here watching today and watch this later to know that like we were fans of yours first and just like reached out on a whim and kind of wanted to do this thing, and it's been fun to like see behind the scenes of everything that you've done.
It was really cool, man. I'm stoked you guys reached out. It's like I had to turn off notifications long ago. The only thing I have is sometimes I don't know why they pop up on YouTube sometimes, but now I'm pretty responsive. Like I still like to go in and talk, and like I always think like if somebody took the time to comment or like leave a message or something, that they took time out of their day to come say hi or make a witty comment on the post. I try to stay up with that stuff. I don't know how I do it because I've had other creators that are like, how the hell do you do that? Like, but maybe I don't know. Well, I'm doing other stuff. I don't know. But like, I enjoy it. I think it's fun. And I appreciate it when you guys reached out. It was like, man, what a cool opportunity. You know, it was like, I love the opportunity to go on new adventures and new experiences. That's part of the reason I'm doing this. Like part of the whole thing for me is just seeing new stuff, doing new things. I always thought there was a show that used to exist. I don't know how long you guys have been in California, but it used to be called Outdoor Gold or California Outdoor Gold. Is that what it was? With Huell Hauser hosted it. And the idea was, he would just go around. He was the greatest host of all time. He was like, he would just go around places, and he'd have a physical microphone that he would hold. And I don't know why I'm using this Allen wrench as a microphone, but he would just stick it in people's faces, and he'd be like, he's like, tell me about your farm. And they'd just start talking, and he'd be like, that's amazing. So I always thought like in the back of my head, it'd be fun to do something like that for like biking, you know, like where you go and you learn about a new part, or you go and learn about the process of how a frame's built, or you go and like, you know, anyways, like I talk about the idea of enjoying new things. To me, it's like fun to learn what the mechanics are behind it, like learning about how the race is run, learning about gravel biking. All that stuff is fascinating to me.
Yeah. Yeah. And you have a great personality for it too, because you are just like open to having a good time instead of being like scared or anxious about it. And I think that's why I felt comfortable enough to reach out to you. I was like, well, if anybody's willing to like make a fool of themselves, it's going to be him. So might as well.
Yeah, exactly. 100%. Dave agrees, I think. Look at him.
I just have some ideas where I'm like, if we can get them to come to the event, can we like let the guys coming in that are going to win the race, and like we just post you up on the corner so you're fresh and just like out sprint them, and then we have fake media set up to start interviewing you, and they're like, what the hell?
The elite athlete Calirado kid is taking the lead.
Yeah, where the hell did he come from? That's not right.
Exactly.
I'm sure they would probably get really pissed. Like the high level guys don't have any patience for my nonsense. Like it was like
that are out there,
first through 10 after they're through and you send me through, like those guys would get a crack out of it. Like the guys in first would be like, nope, not having it. Like their sponsors would email me hatefully. Like it'd just be a whole mess.
It's all right. We'll work with them.
Yeah.
It depends. Like, so I haven't had a lot of experience with like people in races until recently. And there's a certain level of intensity to the highly sponsored, highly athletic, like people that are really serious in it. And I don't blame them. Like they're there for a purpose. They're there for a reason. They're focused. They've got things to accomplish. When I'm out there, I'm usually screwing around. Like I'm not out there to take any place. It doesn't bother. Like with the enduro race, there was just an experience, another experience for me, right? Being wildly out of my element.
But you still did okay.
Yeah, it was fine. It was totally reasonable. Like for not knowing the trails, riding a bike I didn't ride, I did just fine. Like I just, I did bad on the trails, but like racing against locals, what do you expect? Like I went for the experience. And I had a blast. I think it was a really cool learning experience. And oftentimes it gives me good ideas for videos, which is what happened with our ride. Like you come through on that ride, you're like, oh, that was kind of funny. We should make like a funny bit about that or whatever. So that's always advantageous to the experience, like learning new elements and those jokes you can work in and stuff. But yeah, I liked it. It was super cool. Super cool.
Yeah. Yeah, we're glad you came out for it. And that was one of the things I wanted to talk about was this was also your first time at a hot spring, right? Like the first.
That's right.
Pretty turquoisey kind of hot spring.
Now, what's interesting about that is like a lot of people were like, "Hey, can you jump in there?" I'm like, I think your skin would boil off, correct? Like those are really hot springs.
Yeah.
I mean, when I was like in high school and then college, like you would go and the warm water's on the side where the pools are bubbling in.
Right.
But then there was too many people that got burned because then it started to kind of go into the mainstream. And so in that little valley we're in there's like something like 35 pools that are around that valley that people have kind of dug out or natural, and then the water's kind of channeled in that you can go sit in around. Like if people look up Hot Creek or just like the geothermal stuff around Mammoth Lakes, you'll find them all online. Like there's big ones like Wild Willie's, and you go there, on like a Friday night, there's probably 20 people hanging out drinking and stuff.
Yeah. Cool. And then there's like smaller ones, Crab Cooker, where you can go and like wait for it to be open. But yeah, you got to see like that main area. So for people that don't know, you can drive out on a gravel road over to the Hot Creek parking lot and kind of walk down and look at it. We rode bike on that gravel road that kind of goes by the parking lot. And from the top part, you can look down. So that was the picture that Joe just showed of looking down at the hot springs, but those funnel into the river. So you could like sit in the river and maybe not get scalding. But yeah, if you jumped into like the actual hot springs part, you would.
One of the things that's cool too is like we rode up on, like I didn't even know that existed out there. Like I'm really good at doing research when I go to a new place, obviously. And so like I didn't even know there were hot springs there. So we pull up and I'm like, it smells a bit like sulfur here. That's weird. And you guys are like, yeah, look. And I'm like, okay, that makes sense. Yeah. Like
you're like you're trying to hint at like, did David fart?
Yeah, exactly. God, this guy is right in front of me, man. I should have got in front of him. Damn it. Yeah, but it was really cool just to stumble upon that. And it's like, man, seeing that stuff like out of the nowhere is so rad. And like, that was just one element. Like, there's hot springs here. There's the scenery here. There's the lakes up there. There's the waterfalls everywhere. There's all this stuff. It was really cool. And there was a lot of snow melt happening up there still, which I think like this was the perfect timing to go up there. Like, inadvertently, this was a really heavy snow year. But going out there with there's still snow-capped peaks, everything's still melting down into the rivers. What a perfect time to go out to that place, man. Wow, 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 wow.
Yeah. July is great.
Like July, everything kind of melts out the way the winters have been. And this year, I think we know, like the snow will sit around for the whole year on some of the higher peaks, higher elevations. But fall's kind of the best time, into summer and fall is kind of the best time for all the riding and stuff. Because you can go up to the high elevations and the weather is pretty perfect. Like when we're there, it's like 80s is the highest it's really going to get. And every afternoon kind of wind picks up a little bit. But yeah, views, that's the kind of unique part about Mammoth. It's like any direction you look, you kind of get a view. Yeah. And it's pretty amazing.
Yeah, every direction. It looks like a postcard, something I said in the video that I made. It's like 100% true. I always forget how much elevation affects me, though. I got that in Denver, too, where, like, I saw the dry nose. Like, I immediately had to go get chapstick. I was like, man, I forgot about that stuff, where it's like when I lived in Denver, it hit me pretty quick, and I was like, I had to carry chapstick around more often. Those high elevations are no joke, man. Like, seriously.
Yeah. Could you tell a difference pedaling, like that you're more tired faster basically than when you were at home?
I think a little bit. I think I had the advantage of doing I was doing a couple big rides before that weekend. So I went up to Tahoe and did a big they did Tahoe Mountain Bike Fest. So we did like 4,000 feet of climbing. We were already at probably like 8,000 feet or something, I have to assume. So that was a decent acclimation, I think. And then going out to Bellingham, which I guess wasn't super. Well, I did. I went out there and then I did Truckee also. And Truckee's at high elevation as well. And I did a big 4,000 feet climb ride there. So luckily I had a couple weekends back. It doesn't always work out like that because again, I got a family during the weekends. I have to kind of hang out with them. So I can't always just take off for the weekend or whole day or something. Sometimes it works out. Sometimes it doesn't. Man, the cards fell right that I came in at least mildly prepared for that ride, thankfully, because otherwise I would have been wheezing like crazy.
Yeah.
But I did get lucky. Like it wasn't nearly as bad as it could have been, like 100%. Like I came in feeling pretty good to that weekend, which was nice. Like
we were happy that we weren't waiting up because we had a lot of talks like, well, what do we do? Like, well,
what do we do if he sucks?
Let's just leave him out there. You started asking the right questions. Like, is this where they leave bodies? And we're like, we've already discussed this.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're like, just kind of these strangers have taken me out in the middle of nowhere.
I know. It was like for a moment there, I thought it was like a mob. You're just gonna do a hit on me. Like this is how you do it. You just take them out on a gravel ride.
We could have.
You'll never see the body again.
There's no more service. Where are we looking around? Like, what's this valley we're in?
Why are there so many gravel bikes for sale in Mammoth? Like, what the hell's going on here?
Why is there shovels all over the side?
Missing persons posters.
A lot of missing persons and a lot of used bikes for sale. It's very odd. Look, let's be honest here. If we had to wait for anybody, it was Amanda over there. Wait, I can't point the wrong. She had a mechanical for the first time in forever, and
Oh, yeah,
she
that's
probably has
right.
me to blame for that. I don't
Yeah,
know.
I haven't flatted in over a year, and sure enough, I'm like pointing out obsidian and talking about how sharp these rocks are, and going down the next descent, I started getting sprayed in the face with orange seal. Go figure. But
Yeah. Like, where'd
so
Amanda
that's
go? She just comes back covered in goop. Like, I don't know what happened.
Hang on, guys. Gotta get my hand pump out.
Yeah, exactly.
Driver.
Wait, are you guys
go around
okay?
The rocks when you can hit them.
Here's a hot topic. Are you guys hand pump or CO2 people?
Both.
Yeah, both. You can have the hand pump as backup. Yeah, for racing.
Events, you use your CO. Like, you got to think, like, Amanda's won DK, which is now Unbound twice, you know, and so we've raced it probably each like 5 to 7 times.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, when you go out for races like that, you use your CO2 first.
If you're racing, you know, it's got to be fast.
CO2's gone, you have the hand pump as a backup. But like this year when I did the XL, which is 350 miles, like I just took one CO2. It's like, if I need it, I'll use that. Otherwise, the hand pump works. I don't want to carry a bunch of stuff.
Yeah.
Because you have enough of the other junk with you. So, yeah, when you're kind of doing these adventure rides, like, you're kind of going out, you got to be...
That's true.
You know, committed to being able to fix your bike. So you carry a lot of different junk.
But yeah, hand pump forever. I mean, CO2 should only be like if you care about speed, but hand pump to get you out of a dangerous situation.
I think there's been a renaissance. I think, like, so for a long time, people were like, hey, you know what? CO2 sounds like a great idea. Easy. You know, you could just throw it on. It's fast. And then you realize, like, it's a mountain bike or whatever else. You're like, you know, a hand pump, you just pay for it once and it always works. It will not ever fail. It'll just work all the time. It's lightweight. You're like, and so I think there's a renaissance of people like coming back off of CO2 and being like, now I got to go buy canisters every time I have a flat. Like, you don't need, you just get a pump. It's cheap. It's easy. It always works. That analog solution. So that renaissance of like CO2 back to hand pumps, I think is happening. People are just fed up with CO2. And like you said, it's good for a race because you got it quick. And then if there's something majorly catastrophic down the road, you still have a hand pump ready to go. That's called being prepared. That's not something I'm good at. Like, I don't ever carry a tube with me, which is probably stupid. Like,
what?
Yeah, I don't wear knee pads either. I'd always forget to like pack everything I need to bring. You know,
well, knee pads are okay, but having a backup plan to get you to safety, you should probably, I mean, you're like really convinced that the no tubes is going to save you. I admire that faith.
Hey, they paid me to say that. No, they didn't actually. No, it's no, it's like it's just like I used to have it strapped on the frame, then I took it off once to wash the bike, and I don't know where I put it. It exists somewhere. It does. I always just count on my buddy Kyle to bring one with me, or Steve, spokesman MTB's in here as well. I count on him to bring a tube for me. What do you guys stand in chat? Are you guys tubes? Or wait, people say tubes, but let's say, are you hand pump or CO2 people in chat? I don't know. I think there's a renaissance that's happening. I think we're going back to the hand pump. Wouldn't it be funny to have like
or option 3 is a friend, a reliable friend.
Yeah, the Calirado Kid version is my Uber friend over here.
Unpro Kyle.
Yeah, there's a couple people that like pack mules. They're my pack mule. Yeah, it's like you just got to count on everyone else to be prepared. Like, and I think people that ride with me enough know this already that like I'm probably not quite there. You know.
Hey, what's your name? I'm Joe Sherpa.
Yeah. I've got a tripod. Will the tripod help fix the bike? Is that okay? Is it all right?
You guys need this fuzzy microphone?
Here.
Great for the wind.
There was like all right. So with the start of the YouTube channel, like early on, it was a common theme that whenever a mechanical happened with a buddy of mine, I would just sit around and heckle him the whole time instead of helping. Like it was just a common theme. And if you guys ever watched like Top Gear back in the day with Jeremy Clarkson and the guys, and now it's the Grand Tour on Amazon. Like one of the funniest things about that show is that anytime one of their cars breaks down, they're like, well, see you later. And they just leave them. Like, so like the other two guys would just take off and the other guy just got to sit there and fix his car. Like I always thought that was a funny bit. So I definitely took that to heart. I never really helped anybody. So it's just always footage of me like recording and laughing at them. In the early videos, I'm much more compassionate now. You know, I don't record it. I still make fun of them. I just don't record it. You know, so unless it's Kyle.
How nice of you.
Dan in chat says I'm more CO2 because my hand pump fell off my bike a year ago and I never replaced it. Yeah. Hand pump and CO2 if needed, says Ride. Okay, so Freakwood says both. So you guys are onto something with the both here. You got redundancy. Okay. All right, we got some redundancy in chat. You guys are smarter than me. I get it. All right, you don't got to flex. Everybody's got to flex on me tonight. It's fine.
Bigger bike people, not the hardtail kind like us.
Yeah, yeah. Even mountain bikers are smart, apparently. What was I going to say? There was on the Transition Sentinel that I borrowed when I was out in Washington from Evo Bike Shop in Seattle. If you guys are ever in Seattle, Evo was incredible. They were super helpful getting me a bike and everything. There was a bottle holder on it, and I was like, great, let me use the bottle holder because I forgot. Guys, you're not gonna believe this. You might have remembered this on the Revel. I don't have a bottle cage on the Revel because I forgot that it exists.
We called that out first.
Immediately, you guys spotted it. And while I was like, I'll just carry the water bottle in all the pockets that I have, losers. So I got so many pockets compared to you guys. But what happened was, I had one on there, and then I took it off for some reason. I don't even know why. And then I forgot to put it back on. On my Yeti, my SB55, I never had a water bottle holder. So I just forgot that you could put a bottle on a bike. I have a pack that I put both bottles in. Anyways, the bike that I borrowed out in Seattle and in Bellingham and all that stuff had a bottle holder. I was like, great. I'm going to put my bottle in the holder, and that way I've got enough water for this race that I'm about to do. I had that one in there, and I had my pack with me. Good to go. What happened was I crashed, and then immediately the bottle went flying off the holder, which was not confidence inspiring. So the bottle is in the middle of a berm at the final stage of at the final part
just
of the stage.
Just a landmine for every rider.
One dude comes through. He's like, "There's a bottle on the trail." I was like, "I'm running to get it. I'm trying to get it." I was like already screwed somebody's race up because of this.
The best thing is if it says Calirado Kid.
Yeah, are they custom?
That'd be so funny. Calirado Kids water bottle.
Landmines.
Oh my god, just leaving landmines in the racetrack. Yeah, so I had to run back by foot. I'm running through the forest to go grab this water bottle out of there, and I'm like, okay, I got it. Whew. Crisis averted. Throw it back in and go back up. And then by the time something else happens, I look down and my water bottle's gone again. I'm like, this water bottle holder sucks. I don't know what brand it was, but I should have figured that out. But it was didn't inspire confidence for a water bottle holder on a bike. That's all.
Yeah. I don't know if you've seen the water bottle bolt mounts for the hand pump. That's what we have. So it's easy to bring a hand pump around.
Yeah. That's a good idea. I mean, that's a brilliant idea to keep it out of the pack and everything too.
Mm-hmm.
I've got to do it. I've got to get more prepared. I'm going to set up the bike properly. I still have these wheel sets that I've got, and I haven't installed them yet. I thought about getting around to it, but I haven't. I got all the parts I need to install the new brakes. The rotors are on. People are giving me shit because they're like, this is the longest wheel install ever because it's been weeks.
Yeah,
and I just every week I'll do a new update. I put the rotors on. It's just
Are these still the bird wheels?
You're
talking about?
Yeah, I still got it. Yes.
Oh my god! It's 3 weeks ago.
I know.
It's fine. You got a real life, and
we're gonna get you an agent and a mechanic.
God, I'm working up to it because in my mind I'm like, wouldn't it be cool if I live streamed it? But then the logistics behind that are always tricky. This takes time to prep. And then I could do it on IG, but then I got to make sure I have everything ready to rock and roll. And then I'm like, should I live stream it or should I make an actual YouTube video of it? Because people are giving me crap because I'm not making long form YouTube videos right now. I could probably do a funny brake install thing. And I was like, now I'm just holding myself up at this point. I should just put them on and walk away from it and just call it a day. But instead I'm thinking of should I make content out of this or should I not make? And if I do make content out of this, it's going to take 4 times as long to install it. If I make a video of that, you know how many times I got to move the fucking camera around? Sorry.
Yeah, but then if you do it, then people can just shut up. So you should probably just install it once and be done.
I know. I thought about doing it today, and it was 100 degrees, and I was like, I'm gonna go ride instead. So you know what I did? I went to the lake and I rode around the lake into some weird spots that you can't get to right now, and then I just jumped in the water for a half hour. It was the best. I didn't do anything monumental. It was quiet. There was nobody that could get back there, so it was kind of this. I had this whole beach to myself. It was great. It was kind of a refreshing day. It was getting back, sometimes you need a little quiet time to think of ideas and all that. So it was helpful to just get out. I needed to freshen the mind up a bit, and it helped. So it was worth it.
Nice.
So I don't have brakes or wheels on my bike yet, but I do have that. I have some sanity. So maybe tomorrow. Oh my God. Okay, so let's get back to the event because we'll talk about it a little bit more before we close up shop today. So this is happening the weekend of 15th through 17th. Is that correct?
Yes.
The actual race is on the 16th, yeah?
Yeah. So beer run 15th, race 16th, and then awards the next time.
Okay. So you're doing awards on Sunday?
Yeah, so I mean, people are going to be around. We figured have them come over. We do free coffee, so people can come over and get coffee in the morning, and we'll do the awards, and then have people stick around for the raffle. And everybody walks away with something is kind of our motto with the raffle. We have a bunch of stuff that we'll just give away at the end. But that's the thing about Mammoth is you want to spend more than just 24 hours there. So we try to convince people, give them something to do each day and kind of a reason to stick around. One thing that's new for this year, which is probably might only be a unique thing for this year, is that Mammoth Yoga Festival is happening the same weekend as us.
Oh,
And
boy.
that's because they were supposed to be in June, and they ended up moving to September because of all the snow problems.
Mhm.
And I talked to the guy who runs that a couple weeks ago, and he was telling me, he's like, yeah, my demographic's 95% female. And I was like, well, our demographic's 85% male. So we'll balance each other out that weekend.
You guys have a dating scene about that. You might be witnessing the greatest mating ritual in
In the
human
village.
history.
It's just
Yeah.
exactly. That's what I told him. I was like, we need to tell our participants that this is happening. We're just
Yeah,
setting
this
up the ultimate blind date.
This could be out of control, 100%. You should do a Sunday stretching thing before the awards. That'd be a good
Yes.
opportunity to do a hybrid mode here.
Yep.
Yeah, wear your yoga pants, everybody. It'll be fine. Everything's gonna be fine. Just as long as they have vanilla ice cream, you'll be okay.
Yeah.
That's fine.
Yeah.
We're all in tight pants. Everybody will
And then,
work
so
together.
what? Okay, so let's cover also a couple things since it's important because people are going to be watching this or listen to this post fact as well. Ways to find you guys. I think I posted it down below, but it's tough. What's the website?
Tough.
TUFF is tough. Tough is we didn't really say that, but that's the debris left behind by the volcano, because Mammoth is an inactive volcano.
Yeah.
And that's why the material around there. And so we've always kind of just had fun with a little play on the words, kind of educate people about it, because like you saw with the geothermal out there in the hot springs, it's there's so much kind of, interesting natural history going on in that area that people don't really know. And you get on the other side of the 395 out of town, it's great, we can go to the bike park and everything, but that's kind of the piece that we wanted to share. So the website is tuff.ventures or www.mammothtuff.com. That one works.
Yeah, because I think I just Googled Mammoth Tuff and then the website came up. It was Tough Ventures or whatever. So easy enough to find these days. People can Google things, and luckily, again, that's the first thing that came up. So it's TUFF, not TOUGH, which people in chat are going to be impressed by my spelling capabilities right now. But yeah, if you search Mammoth Tuff, you'll find the race. Yeah, exactly. So, and if you're into yoga, you could just go for a yoga festival, and you never know what's going to happen. Apparently, 98% of them are going to be women. So,
or you just go for the bike park weekend and come visit us for the concert and support us by getting a beer.
Yeah,
because the concert's a cool thing, and we're working with MLR, which is Mammoth Lakes Recreation, and they take care of a lot of the trail systems out there. So they're the nonprofit that are helping us put together the alcohol sales for that evening to take money back to support the trails that are off the mountain around in the area of Mammoth Lakes. And man, I had a meeting last week. I could tell you the future is bright with the
and that's
maps
something that
and all the things I saw.
Yeah, like you're saying, if you come out, even just to support events like this and help build in the community and get money to local trail organizations, that means bigger and better for the future for all of us. Going out there, more trails to ride, and exactly. I think the more that bikers come out and represent, the less the damn equestrians are going to have the power. You know what I mean?
True.
No, but we love them too. No, because they've got horse riding up there and stuff too. But again, the more that people come out for biking and the bigger the sport gets, the more people get involved with local trail organizations, the more trails we have to ride. It's better for everybody in the long run. And we're seeing that all over the place right now, especially in the Lost Sierra areas where I'm at. We're seeing more trails be built, which means we can all come out and have a better day on the bike. If you go out to Mammoth in the future 5 years from now and there's even more trails to ride, it's even better than it is now. It's man, and you could help that. So these are cool things that are happening within communities that I think bikers have a good sense of it, and it's pretty cool as a community to see it come together. And a lot of these events tend to benefit local trail orgs and things, or at least bring stoke to the world too, man. I dig it, and it gives us a chance to hang out with each other. I think it's awesome.
Yeah, exactly. And we couldn't do this stuff without good trail systems and people that actually care to take the time to make sure they're nice and in good shape after winters and stuff like that. So yeah, that's part of the reason why we wanted to do this too, is because like I think Mammoth didn't, like we talked about earlier at the beginning of the show, I don't think they realized how much potential there was for like gravel riding and trails out there. And so working with Mammoth like recreation, part of us is like trying to get them to realize that they could make like gravel maps, you know, like routes for people to go do that right now only kind of we know, and people message us to find that stuff out. But the more that we can spread the word and tell people to go out there and do some different kind of riding. But yeah, I think regardless, part of the reason why we wanted to talk to you is because we know that most of your followers are mountain bikers, and the fact that, you know, Mammoth still has some of the best mountain biking in the world, and like, you know, you can still go that weekend and ride the bike park anyways.
Yeah, it's a cool place, but I, you know, like you were just saying with like Sierra Buttes and La Sierra and all that stuff, like I saw this initiative the other day that's through all these towns, and there's a thing called Town to Trails, and its future goal is connecting basically trails from Tahoe
to
south of Mammoth.
Oh, south.
Yeah.
Crazy.
And it'll go all the way basically to Lone Pine, which is like Mount Whitney.
Oh, wow.
Eventually.
Crazy.
And then off of those town trail systems, like we're trying to build in these gravel routes around, which is like 2 tracks so that it's multi-use. And at the end of the day, it's like we're all committed to dirt, right? You know, so it's like kind of an Niner saying too. It's like we're riding mountain bikes all the time, and that's where our racing first started, and this gravel stuff is fun. And it's kind of, yeah, like I just look at these trail systems and the things that we're doing out there, and it's like the gravel bike allows me to just go out and ride farther, and I can still go hit single track and just get into it under biking a little bit. And you know, it's but it's super cool, the potential for the future and the riding around that area.
I think a big trail like that kind of makes sense. We don't necessarily need single track to go that far. Like it'd be nice, but it's also like to make it available for everybody. It's not a problem to be a little wider, you know, like to cover that much ground. Like I'm thinking to ride Tahoe to Mammoth, like that would be a big ass ride. So it's like, you know what I mean? Like
give me some room.
But around the major towns, like they're building the opportunities for single track development.
Like little
there.
systems.
Yeah. Like there's little systems of like, hey, we're going to put in these, you know, single track over on this, actually right by where you saw Hot Creek.
Sweet.
Out there, and it kind of goes down to some baseball fields, and we know there's restrooms there, and there's restrooms at Hot Creek, and and there's so many other sites too. Like Hot Creek's really cool, but even on the course, like people, like there's just other natural history that, you know, petroglyphs and things like that are out there that are pretty amazing and unique to the area.
I just had an idea, by the way, speaking of restrooms, like how is there not, like, think of like a concert or a big event or something. If you were a porta potty vendor, like how is your porta potty not called the after potty? You know, that like just have on the sign on the porta potty an after potty. Like I got to go to the after potty, you know, like how has nobody done that yet?
I will invest.
That's all. How many people we have in chat right now? What can we raise?
Tell us how much you guys want to invest in this idea.
Yeah, start donating money to me right now. I'll invest it in After Potty. I assure you, I will not buy any more computer equipment or graphics cards or bike parts. It'll go right to the After Potty business,
we should
and
have
you'll be a part of it. I won't give you
look.
I won't give you any of the proceeds if you donate, but I'll tell you right now that you'll in your heart know that you helped.
Yeah, going to a good cause.
Exactly right. Look, you guys in chat, what do we got? Oh, Kakusi says, I want more barbecue content from Calirado. You know what's funny? Like, I would barbecue every weekend until I really started hammering out this content. Like, now I don't do it as much because I'm out there. I got to go film. I got to do it. Like, I can't just sit around and smoke a brisket all day like I love to do. But I've got a massive smoker outside. Again, I think we talked about this. It's one of the things I got a small smoker in LA. And I got really involved with that. Like, I just loved it so much. So I started making my own bacon, my own briskets, my own, like, everything, pulled pork. And I got way too involved, just like I did with the mountain biking thing. So this is why I say I get a little bit overzealous. So my next step is from having this bullet smoker. I bought another one that was slightly bigger. So I had 2 smokers in the back. And then I decided to order like a $3,500, 1,000-pound offset smoker from Texas. And I've had that thing for years. And so I would just smoke 60 to 80 pounds of meat like every other week and just bite people over and all this stuff. So I got pretty good at it. I could basically cater if I needed to. I'm
So,
like, it's fine. I'm quite
well, that's
capable.
all I'm hearing right now is that you're bringing the smoker up to the event next year.
Yeah.
And
Put you
porta
next to the
potties.
bar,
And
And porta
we'll
potties.
have the squatty potties, the after potty.
You come, your own smoker crew comes with porta potties.
If
Yes.
this doesn't sit well with you, we always have the after
Yeah.
potty.
Yes. See, this is a self-sustaining
This is
business, you know,
genius.
100%.
Genius.
I love it.
It's so
Just,
good. We're
it
gonna
goes
make
right
millions.
down the
This is
line.
the Ideas Club right here. We're gonna make millions. So yeah, it's like I got totally involved with barbecue way too much, and you know, I used to post stuff on IG because on weekends I'd be doing some barbecue and stuff. I thought like if I was to focus down and do a barbecue channel as well, I'd probably be highly successful. Imagine just like my personality, but like just doing barbecue, presenting barbecue content, like could totally work. But I got to focus on one thing at a time. Who says Ride
Yeah.
to Shred? Was that okay? Ride to Shred says, what does WC mean on your shirt? A lot of people in the UK think it means water closet,
Water
which
closet.
means
Water
again bringing
closet.
it back to the bathrooms, but it is not. It means worldwide cyclery. If you look at the back. Oh my god! Wait, hold on. Just
Just wrapping himself up
Perfect.
in the cable.
Perfect.
okay. Oh, isn't it? Okay, I'm back. I'm back, everybody. Look at this. I'm back. I'm a professional, I swear. All right. So what else? Worldwide cycling. Yeah, that's right. Barbecue party at Calirado Kids House. You know, the only problem is, okay, I had another funny idea since I got you guys on the line. I'm going to make you put up with it. All right. So another funny idea that I had would be like, you know how you invite friends for a dig day? Like you're going to go dig some new trail or something.
Yeah.
You're like, hey, our local trail orgs will do a dig day. They'll be like, let's get everybody together. Let's go dig some trails and then we'll have lunch and we'll hang out and all this stuff. I was like, wouldn't that be funny if you told your friends like, hey, we're going to do a dig day. Like just meet at my house and we'll all take off from there or whatever. And then the dig day was like cleaning up your backyard.
You
'Cause I
get
need
the
that.
address and they're like, wait, this is where you live, isn't it?
Yeah. Because we're here, guys. Let's grab a shovel. Like, wait, what? Like, I thought that'd be
We're
funny.
gonna lay some pavers.
It might be a funny idea for a video, but more importantly, like I actually need that because my backyard's a mess because I spend every weekend out. I just go ride and film. So like I paid no attention to it because somebody said like we should do a barbecue at my house. And I can't because my backyard's a mess and my wife won't let me have people over anymore. So I got to get it together. So it's not as embarrassing. All right. But like, I gotta dedicate, like, imagine how much time it would take for me to do that when I could be making like great videos. I'd rather be making videos. So it's like, I need to hire somebody. I'll have a dig day at my house is all I'm saying. Then I swear I'll barbecue. Let me think about it. I could probably barbecue like 40 pounds of brisket and like 20 pounds of pork butt, and we would all leave happy. So I'm just saying it's a possibility. I'm just floating the idea for people in chat. If you guys are interested, let me know.
Sounds like a great way to get your yard fixed up. Free labor.
I know.
that
Just
idea.
tout the fame. I'm like, I'll put you in a video, kid. Wait, that's
I mean,
a young adult. No, wait,
this
no.
barbecue is that good
Jesus.
that you're getting this many people. Like we need some volunteers at the event, you know? So
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we'll just
saying,
wrap
if
it all
we're giving
together.
out
Yeah.
free barbecue and some beers, like they can help us run the roadblocks on the closed street for event day. No problem.
Yeah.
Send you up
So-
on a chairlift, come back down.
So it's funny you mentioned like the idea of bringing out the smoker. One time, if people don't know what my day job is, people have asked before, but I'm a broadcast engineer. I kind of work in radio, not on the radio. I did at one point. As a little brief history, the Calirado Kiddo was on air for a little bit, but it was like an overnight shift. I soon realized there wasn't much money in it, and like unless you're like in a big market like San Francisco or something like that, and you're syndicated, it's pretty tricky to. Now, if I had stuck to it, I realized this, I probably would have done okay, like because I could do this here for a long time, but I just I didn't maybe I didn't like the idea of it being controlled and being told what to do by somebody like that would orchestrate it all, right? Like because there's a program director or whatever else that basically like in radio. They tell you how to get your show in line, what to say, things you got to promote. Like here, I could do whatever I want. I think it's kind of a platform that is mine, and I like that more than anything else. So I probably, whatever. Anyways, so I didn't do it for very long, and then where was I saying? Oh, I was working in radio. Anyways, I forgot where I was going with the story. It doesn't matter.
The smoker.
Anymore.
You were like bringing the smoker to the event.
Oh
Yeah,
yeah.
bring
So
the
we had a
smoker
country
somewhere.
concert, and they're like, "Hey, could you like cater backstage?" And so we actually rented a U-Haul, or like we went to Home Depot and got a whole trailer and put the thing on the trailer and brought it backstage to a country concert. And I was
No
smoking
way.
like ribs and a bunch of other stuff, and we're just feeding artists. And that, like the funny part is, like I don't really listen to country, and we have a country radio station. country artists are incredible. They're super nice. But like, I'm sure there was famous people that I was feeding that I didn't know who they were. Like, because I don't know who anybody is in country music. So it was like, all right, well.
Yeah. Just tell me how the
Whatever.
ribs are.
I know. Yimi says, "Hey, Calirado kid, which do you prefer, hardtail or fluffy?" You know what? I don't think I've ridden a hardtail in a very, very long time. But I'm guessing, fully. Sorry, I read that as fluffy.
That's a good name for a squishy bike.
That's a good name, though.
I'm sticking to that.
We should, hardtail or fluffies.
Are you riding a fluffy bike or are you riding a hardtail, huh? What are you riding? Oh, I'm full fluff, bro. I'm full fluff.
Yeah. 6-inch fluff.
By the way, fluffies are allowed at Mammoth Tuff in case anybody wants to come with their fluff.
Yeah, we're open to the fluffers. It's fine.
Open to fluffers,
wow.
For sure.
Wow. Fluffybike.com.
This is a whole bit. This could be a whole new bit.
Wow. Sorry. Reading isn't my specialty, guys. Neither is math. So we'll make it work one way or another. I know. Ride to Shred says Dave's mustache is clutch. I know. I was hesitant to bring him in tonight because his mustache is so glamorous. It's just luckily the lighting on mine's a little better tonight. Otherwise, he might win out. But that's all I've got going for me here.
Man, to ruin the lights, That and you got this new tan from out there soaking all day.
Man, I'm not kidding. I do look super tan, don't I? Like I was thinking it was like
you do,
but that's like a pretty decent looking tan now. That I've got a couple lights set up in here, but like once the sun sets, this studio really shines. Like really, I got to control the lighting here to make it look like this all the time. But like this is just it looks so good in here.
Yeah,
I spent a lot of money to get this going, but yeah, it's fine. All right, so we're off track. We're going to get close to calling it a night, but I want to make sure we highlight any other things that you guys want to talk about the event before we call it a night. And if anybody in chat has anything, questions for me, questions for them, anything about like gravel or bike questions, this is the opportunity. But we know when the event's happening. We know basically how it's happening. Anything anybody else should know about Mammoth, the Mammoth Tuff event coming up, the gravel race?
Yeah, I would say, I think, it's funny. At the beginning of the show, I caught you. You called it a gravel race, and then you're like, oh, a gravel event. And I think that's probably the biggest thing that we want to quell people's fears on, is that it's not necessarily a race. You don't have to go balls to the wall for 40 miles, 70 miles, 100 miles, whatever it is. It's more of an adventure. And that's the part that we're trying to sell here is like, don't be intimidated by the fact that people do race it and they want to go hard. I would say 90% of the people that we get to sign up really just want to go explore. And I think firsthand from being out there that it's remote. A lot of it doesn't have cell phone service coverage. So really what we're trying to sell is like the safety aspect of our event and the fact that you can go ride in this remote area. And we have aid stations, we have support, so in ways that you can do it safer. So the more that we can pitch the angle to regular people and like selling it as an adventure and going out and doing something fun and different and outside of your comfort zone, but with that safety net around it, I think was the biggest thing that we wanted to sell. And even just show you like, hey, you can get out there. You feel like you're really in the middle of nowhere. And with our event, you can kind of like get a little bit farther and go a little bit further. So yeah, we're glad that you got to kind of see a little bit of that. And that's part of what we wanted to show people, is that it's a really cool place to explore and do something different.
Yeah. And I'd say to add to that, like the people coming up for the weekend that are, into the riding the dirt side of things, like we'll see people come to ride the event Saturday, and then Sunday they go ride the chairlifts because they're tired.
Yeah.
Sweet. And it's the last day of the bike park, and it's like, yeah, why wouldn't you? Like that sounds awesome. Or even like today, because we did a talk last night at a local shop down here in Orange County, and then we did a ride today with everybody, and same as you, like somebody was up for the closer of the mountain, took their kids and went and skied for 2 hours in the morning, and they rode, the shuttles in the afternoon and rode their bikes for 3 or 4 hours. And it's like, that's just kind of Mammoth in a like overview for everything like that. And that's what I love about it. I did the same thing that weekend, went out to the mountain for 2-3 hours in the morning, went and rode to June Lake and back in the afternoon. And it's like, it just allows you kind of all of that adventure in one small little town. So
yeah. And one last thing I would say is that your experience is one thing that we want to get people to know, because Niner's actually coming to the event this year and they have demo bikes. So people that don't have a gravel bike, if you are gravel curious, when you sign up for the event right now, you can sign up for a demo bike for free. So if that's something that you don't have and you're like, okay, is the Calirado kid being real here? Was that actually fun? And you're curious, come on out, demo the bike. You can try it for yourself and find out if he was lying or not.
Yeah. If I'm just marketing ploys, yeah, that's one thing.
Yeah.
That, like, at least people can trust the fact that I just say it the way it is for the most part. So it's like I
Oh,
really did
yeah.
have a blast. And the Niner bike was great. Like, and I like that element of it, like the idea that like you don't necessarily have to come to race. You're being part of a race, but it's more of an event. Like I like that because they had that same thing at the Whiskey 50 where you could do a 15er or whatever, just to go out and have a blast and hang out with people that like bikes. You know, it's like, okay, well,
Yeah.
that's a simple and come to like a bike event. Like, and in one of the most beautiful places in California, if not the world, like crazy. Like I was blown away. I thought it was a blast. The riding was amazing. Just seeing all the scenery and everything. Yeah, I like that element. Like you don't have to come to compete. You can, but you know, you could do it like I would too. Just come and enjoy the adventure.
Is, can I ride a mountain bike? Yeah, you can ride a mountain bike.
Yeah,
and
you
even on the
can.
short course, we allow people to have like that. We have a full e-bike category, as long as they're pedal assist for the roads that we're using.
Sweet.
And then again, the batteries won't last on any of the courses that are longer than that. But yeah, it allows everybody to kind of get that experience, and that's what we're trying to share with the area, and then continue to grow this gravel in the West.
I love it. Anything else people should know? I think somebody said, what bike do you guys have? You guys are riding Niners. Tell them about your bikes real quick. Just don't go too into detail, right? We'll all fall asleep over here, right?
Yeah, I know. We have a lot. We have like pretty much the whole quiver that Niner has. I mean, we have everything from the steel hardtails to the WFO, which is their 5-inch bike. So, but for gravel, they have, they have the RLT, which is their gravel specific. You know, it doesn't have any suspension on it, but Niner is known for that full suspension bike, which Dave wrote up in the video that we filmed with you. Yeah, so Niner has the MCR, which is short for Magic Carpet Ride. So he has that. The RLT is the tried and true gravel frame, and so that's the one that they'll have out for the event.
Sweet.
By the way, when I had a call with them last week, the very first question they asked was, "Why didn't you let him ride the MCR?"
I wanted the full. I didn't want the full squish. I wanted a traditional hardtail gravel bike. That's what we call it, right?
You didn't want the fluffy gravel bike.
I don't want the fluffy. Yeah. No, I didn't want the full squish. I wanted to go like just what a normal gravel bike looks like. That's what I wanted to start off and try it with. And it was like, I would say the riding quality is like easier because obviously the bike's lighter. You know, you're not doing like really chunky climbs. You know, it's like all of it was totally manageable. It's like, again, taking time to really enjoy the scenery. It's still a workout. It's still like climbs could be hard, especially at that elevation. But it was like, you know, it's not the same as like a mountain bike climb up like, God, where was I doing recently? It was just absolutely brutal climbing, you know, like there's Mr. Toad's Wild Ride out in Tahoe where it's known for the start of that trail is just punchy climbs up rocks over and over again until you get to the top. It's just like brutal, you know? So this is nice. All of it was like gradual climbs. Nothing was like soul crushing. It was cool. Super cool.
Yeah. It's definitely
let's see. Yimi says, Calirado Kid, do you hang out with other MTB YouTubers? Yes, I do. I know a lot of them. In fact, it's funny when I like talk collaboration stuff or whatever else. Like I work with some people, and I was like, let me know if you want to work with them too, because I know everybody. Like I grew up with Brian BKXC, but like there's a big group of us, those YouTube content creators that talk in the background. I basically like anybody that's like a YouTube content creator, I probably have talked to them or know them at some point now. And same thing with social media. I try to I see creators that are doing something unique or whatever. Like I talk with Jess. I talk with who everybody thinks you're Jess the Maker, by the way. If people don't know this, everybody thinks Amanda is Jess the Maker, I've discovered. And so
some awkward conversations.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, she's told me she got in full conversations with people that were asking her to just do funny stuff, and she's like, I'm not Jess the Maker. But like,
thanks.
Yeah, anyways, I know Sebastian, I know Christian Pepper and Outside Brendan, and like, you know, you have to, when you're in creative space, it's one thing, like, you know, this is the same in everything. Like when you find somebody that does something similar to you want to like hang with them and talk with them, and you want to talk shop. And one of the reasons why bike events is fun for us is because we tend to like gravitate towards them, and we can talk shop. We can like, I can't do that with a normal fan. Like if somebody comes up and says, I like your videos, I could talk their ear off for an hour about how I made the latest video, but did they really want to know all that? Probably not. Like it's more like, dude, it was funny. Thanks. Get the hell out. Like they don't want to talk to me that long. They just want to tell me they appreciate that it's funny. Like So like when we get together, we talk shop about how we made the videos, video ideas, like like, yeah. So anyways, a long story short, Yimi, yes, I talked to most of them. I almost know everybody. Will you host any MTB races in Colorado? Are you talking them? I don't know if you guys are mainly focused in California at the moment at the Mammoth stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Never say never.
Yeah.
But you could do like
We
Breckenridge Tough, like Breck Tough. You know, I'm just saying,
Yeah.
or like it's a possibility. You never know what's going to expand to. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's why we made Tough Ventures as kind of an umbrella to give us the opportunity to do something, because we had just had Mammoth and like we didn't want to be married to it. So if we wanted to do stuff in the future, we could do just anything tough. Yeah.
The idea of
tough
like it
thing
started to
to use
spread of like
everywhere.
me doing an event, and I like the idea of it. I know how much it takes to do an event, but there'd have to be like I couldn't do it now, not with working a full-time job and a family. It would be overwhelming. If I was ever doing this full time, the sky's the limit on the things I could pull off. But right now, there's not a possibility. There's no way. But I like the idea of it, and there would be a lot of hijinks involved, and a lot of entertainment. I'd probably bring a lot of creators in to do like creator summits and stuff. Like I think
that'd
that's
be
an
cool.
element that nobody's really taking advantage of, is like
Yeah.
having us together. I'd pitch that to Sedona, maybe the possibility of like doing like a full-on live Q&A with like a bunch of big creators, you know, bring fans in, maybe live stream it, just have like a cool, like, you know what I mean? Just a different element. And well, maybe we'll see one day, but it's just all that stuff
You
takes
didn't
time.
pitch this to Mammoth, so I've got the West End across the street and all the rooms that we need. But we should talk about this because that
See,
could be
that might
fun
be
with
fun.
the
I mean, I
closing
like
of the
the
bike
idea
park
of it.
for the weekend.
You know, yeah, bring people in and just like bring another element for like for people that want to come to something that maybe they don't even want to ride, or they do want to do a ride it, but then they want to come hang out with the creators, and like there's a draw.
Yeah.
Like when we go to events, like
Yeah.
we can't move anywhere without getting recognized. It's insane. So it's like, and I love hanging out and talking to people. So providing an avenue for that to like happen could be pretty cool. I think it'd be like fun to just bring in, yeah, a big crew of creators, and we all just hang out, make content, and then, you know, so there's a possibility. Again, fleshing in the ideas out. It's all we got to do.
I like it. I like it.
Okay, look, Mesha's in here. Trail Mesh, good to see you, buddy. Mesha's known for basically like anytime there's an event where I'm going to be at it, he doesn't go because he's supposedly hanging out with his daughter and being a good father. But I don't appreciate it. You know, like he could be hanging out with me and saying hi.
Sounds
you know?
sus.
Yeah,
That's a
exactly,
little sus.
exactly. Does sound sus, Mesha. You hear that? Look, I appreciate you guys jumping on with me tonight. I know Saturday nights are sometimes tricky for people in chat and for you guys here, Amanda and Dave. Thanks for coming up with the idea of bringing me out to Mammoth. I think it was an absolute blast. We've got another video in the works that's going to go live probably Tuesday. I'll have it ready. I'll send you guys a draft ahead of time. Another collab between all of us. And keep an eye out for the event. The event's coming up pretty soon. I pinned the website down below on YouTube. I'll try to do that when I do the podcast stuff as well, because I'll translate this into podcast form. And otherwise, like they said, it could just be an adventure. You could just go out to a new place and do a new thing that you've never done before. Niner's going to have demo bikes. I think that's rad. And Mammoth is 100% a place I would recommend to visit. Like, there's no question about it. Like, I know I made a video called the top 5 reasons to visit Mammoth. And they brought me out, obviously, but I believe everything that I said in that video. Like, that place is incredible. I was just like, everywhere I went, I was like, whoa, you know, like where you bring a kid to Disneyland, they're overwhelmed. That was me there. I was like, look at this place. Like, look at the lakes, look at the fishing, look at the ride. I was like, everywhere I looked, I was like, this is so cool. Like, so I nerded out a little bit, and I put that through in the video. Like, it seems like an ad, but like, it's still like, I really did have that experience. I thought it was super cool. So a good opportunity to go see something new, do something different. And I think that's going to do it. And you guys want to give me some final words before we close it out? What do you think?
I mean, I love that description of it, and that's what I think we're trying to build with the event too. Because even when people are tired, they're just coming up to the village, and like, you know, from the expo of it, you know, it's like you go to events and it's usually the same thing where it's like, oh, hey, here's this company and they have this stuff. So for us, it's like, yeah, we have some bike stuff, but it's also like we're bringing up 4-wheel camper. They're gonna have show rigs there. You can go and, you know, jump in them. There might be some other types of trailers that are campers from other companies, and potentially vans. And so, yeah, for us in the future, it's building out this whole adventure side of it, because that's what we all do anyway. And so, yeah, it's super fun. And then, yeah, with the concert, we have some super talented people coming up for the weekend, like Bryce Wetstein, who's coming up to play her ukulele, and she's Olympic pro skateboarder. And then Max Gomez, who we saw on tour last year with Jeff Beck and Johnny Depp. And I was like, wow, this is cool. The guy wants to come up and play a free concert at Mammoth. So yeah, super fun. It's going to be amazing weekend. So even if you're coming up to just ride the bike park, come by and say hi.
Yeah, we're glad you had a good time on Curly Bars. And I think, yeah, it was a big, we were all throwing a Hail Mary to see if it was gonna be fun and you were gonna have a good time. So I'm glad it worked out. That was all real. And I think, yeah, that hopefully if Mammoth Tuff next year could be your first like gravel event, I think that would be awesome. We can figure that out. But yeah, thanks for coming and being open to a fun, different idea. Hopefully that gets you gravel curious and some more of your followers gravel curious, and maybe get a gravel bike in the quiver eventually.
Yes, totally. Yeah, and the only reason I'm not going, I know we were trying to get me out to the event this year, is like the only reason is because my buddy's got a wedding on the 15th. Like the only friend that I have that's not married yet. So he's like, we're all in our 40s now, and he's finally getting into it. So I was like, all right, it's like I'm definitely gonna be there. So it's going to be fun. Otherwise, I'd be there. So hopefully if we can make it work next year, I'd love to get out there. We'll see, how Visit Mammoth takes all the content and the numbers and crunches it and figures out what's what. They seem like they had a reasonably fun time with my my stuff, but we'll see. It was a blast.
No,
they were
did.
super cool to work with. So it was overall 100% positive experience. I really did have a blast. No fluff, honestly. And stoked you guys invited. Again, one of the things we talked about when we went on the trail, I was like, I'm just really stoked to come out on new adventures, and I had a blast, and can't wait to do it again. So on that, we're going to leave it. I appreciate you guys jumping in. The event is coming up September 15th, 16th, and 17th, so coming up real fast. If you haven't been to Mammoth, get out there. You can go out there for the event, hang out. It'll help local trail orgs. It's a rad, just biking event. You can go hit the downhill park, and if you can't make it to the event, make sure you follow them on IG. I pinned it down below right over there at Mammoth_Tuff to keep an eye out for more updates. And in addition to that, if you haven't been to Mammoth, you should go to Mammoth. It's really cool. I mean, again, I was like a kid in a candy store just running around, pointing at everything, and I had an absolute blast. Can't wait to go back. The family really did have a blast too, so it was awesome. So with that, we're going to end it. Trust me, I've got the greatest ending screensaver in history, and there's no way that I'm going to come back after the screensaver's over and talk. Everyone knows that, especially Steve from the Spokesman MTB. All right, we'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks for jumping in, everybody.